And now with face established, I'm just hit the button and we're rolling on What's Up. Hi.
Hey-o.
It's What's Up.
How you doing?
Yeah. So obviously the title of this episode will probably be way more excited and yelly than we sound all the time. But that's how we do the thing.
Listen, Lucky has just come off of eating a big fat burrito, and those carbs are releasing those sugars and then making me sleepy.
Oh.
How do people do it without yawn?
Do what now?
Oh, no, how do people stay awake for so long and sound so peppy? I don't understand it.
Different biochemistry. Whatever. I
can't go an hour without, yawning twice, I feel.
I feel like talking loosens me up. Makes me feel yawny.
Probably.
Very rarely do I yawn in my own time when just chilling, not speaking to anybody. But, yeah, so we're not here to talk about sleep, unless we are. Because it's What's Up, and we don't know anything.
Whatever, we talk what we want.
But, the big thing that we've been kind of talking about for a while, and that we should probably go ahead and keep talking about, because I'm sure it's going to be part of the big headline of the episode.
Ew.
See, my problem, though, is I keep being, immediately burpy right when we start recording.
You either sneeze, you yawn, or, you bark. It's a thing. I've come to accept
probably the talking. Not the sneezing. That's probably just me being gross, because that happens all the time anyway. Me and my being sinusly challenged. But, no, the thing I was going to segue to was PS5s.
Yeah.
Because this Wednesday, as of this recording, in case you're in the future and don't know, because hopefully people listen to these in the future. And also in the present. Just listen to them whenever. Go back into the past and listen to these episodes. Okay, thanks, bye. But so Wednesday, PlayStation did, I guess they called it their last big PlayStation 5 showcase. Or at least their I don't know if they're actually going to be their last, but it was it was the climax.
Yeah.
So, it was, 4 or 5 minutes of actual time?
It was about 45 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think you were up yet by the time it was starting or something.
Nah.
And you were like, oh gosh, did this go for 2 hours? And I was like, did it? Then I double checked and I'm like, oh no, don't worry. An hour of that is just, trance music and blue screen.
And it was. I was like, oh. No, it was only about 45 minutes, and They played it fairly straight. They opened up with a bunch of game trailers.
Well, yeah, it was basically. It's not even I would say it's not even like an E3 presser. There was very few people talking.
No, I think there was maybe a couple points where someone said, "Hey, we're excited about this. We're introducing the game," but that was about it.
Yeah, there was 2 or 3 guests. The one I remember is they got the guy from Insomniac to talk about Miles Morales.
Mm-hmm.
And then and I think that was in between segments, right? They did a cutscene, and then they had a guy explain the setup to gameplay, which is pretty typical in the video game industry, and I think is important sometimes because you got to explain the context for what you're seeing, right?
Yeah.
And there was a guy before COD who talked about the game, and then talked about their goals, and then was like, and now we're going to show you some campaign. And then he announced the alpha this weekend.
Yes. For those of you who want to play Cold War multiplayer, should be going.
Yeah, it's going right now, I believe. Free alpha for PlayStation.
Yeah.
And was there anybody else? I don't even remember. Might just
there was the guy I forgot his name. Was it Jim something? The CEO who introduced the who basically did the farewell and the the one last thing.
Right. Yeah, they had the Sony CEO, whatever his name is. Sorry, my man, I don't remember you. You're a guy.
I'm bad with names. Okay. Mm-hmm. But, speaking of games, they opened up with Miles Morales, which they're definitely shooting to be
no. I think the very first trailer they did was 16, wasn't it? I think
was it?
Yeah, I think that was the very first one.
Oh, I might have missed it then. Hang on.
Let me pull it up and mute it. Because I want to remember all of it. Because there were, for 45 minutes, this was, as we said, there was 2 humans who talked through the whole thing, right? So,
yeah.
It was very dense with trailers and gameplay segments, actual content.
Ow! Was it 16? Hang on. Shoot, now I can't... What was it called? It was the PS5
It was the showcase... Yeah, I got it. Hold on. Mute YouTube. I believe this was the whole thing. They've cut out the... Okay, well, yeah, technically they start with a sizzle reel, but yes, after that, the first is definitely 16. Here, I will link it in Patreon chat.
Okay, I'm dumb. I must have went in my efforts to skip the blue screen. I must have just jumped over it.
Yeah, so they started with a formal announcement of Final Fantasy 16.
Oh, no, that's right. Heck, you're right. I'm dumb. I do remember that now.
Yes, which was, I feel came out of fucking nowhere.
It really did.
Like, we all knew that they would be working on a 16, especially with Kingdom Hearts kind of winding down, though they do have the rhythm game coming out sometime, and 7 Remake out, but then working on the next with that squad, so it was like, you gotta feel like they gotta be working on a 16, right? But here it is, and it's clearly the Dark Souls of Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it looks pretty nice. So, interesting thing about this actually is, I believe the creative producer or something is Yoshi P, who's been at Square Enix for a while. Mm-hmm. But the thing that Yoshi P has been, like, his most notable contribution has been to Final Fantasy XIV, the MMO.
Yeah, he's the big guy on 14, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Which also you can probably tell by watching this trailer, because while not, obviously, like I said, the Dark Souls joke, this is a lot more, like, grounded and gritty. It still has a lot of the same aesthetics as 14.
It looks very dark, but you still see a lot of action and a lot of lens flare.
Who was I don't remember. Somebody said who they did the action direction, but it's like, it's clearly an action RPG, and it seems very inspired by, like, it's got that Final Fantasy twist to it, but it seems very inspired by games like Dark Souls and Bloodborne. Probably more Bloodborne at this point.
They're definitely, I think they want to basically harken more to a dark fantasy, but from what I can tell, it might even seem like we might have some political intrigue like we saw back in 12. I'm not entirely sure.
Yes, it looks like there's, like, different competing factions, and they talk about it. There is also, like, they talk about, like, a blight, because of course they do, and, you know, the crystals and whatever, so it sounds like there's a certain amount of, like, magic gone wrong kind of thing. I'm also assuming it looks like there's a prologue where you're a young soft boy, and then you become a grizzled hard boy at the end, setting off the plot. Which I feel like a couple of Final Fantasies have done that kind of, like, soft prologue kind of thing, and then conflict. Like,
well, yeah, actually, like, there's actually been quite a few RPGs that usually, like, go through age arcs. One of the Dragon Quest is actually real famous for that, where you actually go through three different generations of heroes in one campaign. So I'm kind of surprised that we haven't actually seen more stuff like this, of, like, you know, young to older, especially in Final Fantasy.
I'm just thinking of like it's not quite the same, though there is it's a small time skip, but I'm thinking of, like, the tutorial for 12, which is like you play as Rex and you do the whole thing, and then it's like, and then at the end, spoilers for the fucking tutorial, Rex gets shanked. And then you're like, oh shit, I guess he died. And then it's like, 2 years later, some shit happened. And then you start the real plot. This looks like it's kind of similar kind of a thing. But much more gritty. There's a lot more open blood in it. A lot of people are suspecting this will be rated M.
Nah, I wouldn't mind it. Lucky always wants his more mature stuff.
I mean, M is no longer a big curse, as far as, much like R-rated movies, it's not a big curse anymore.
Like I said, as we move towards the information singularity, things just become not as.
And they say that also there were some goof ups in this. I'm watching it now back. Like, so I don't remember if the 16 is actually console exclusive, but they say console exclusive will be also coming to PC. So the idea is that it theoretically would.
They did say that. I think it was on. What was it?
I believe Demon's Souls was an error. That is entirely because that's by Sony's internal studio. That's not a partner game. That is actually literally PS5 exclusive and will be a launch title.
Yes. So with Final Fantasy 16 though, like, if they're only going, I'm pretty sure what they're going for is a timed exclusivity.
Yes, they're probably going to do what Sony's been doing with a lot of basically second party games, like Death Stranding, which came out on PC earlier this year. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that, you know. And then after 16 is the Miles Morales segment.
Yeah, okay. Miles Morales, which Miles Morales is also going to be a launch title. Looks very good. It looks like they're using the same engine and have just spiced things up with a new character and new abilities.
Yes, and if you, like me, haven't actually yet played the first Sony Spider-Man game, you can get the Ultimate Edition of Miles Morales and get a PS5 remaster of the first one, which is probably what I'll do. That'll be a little pricey, but I'll probably do that at some point. Because I think that Spider-Man is not on the... They announced this somewhere in the middle, but they're doing an interesting kind of a Game Pass type thing. Basically, they're enhancing free games with PS Plus on the 5, where they're doing what they're calling the PS Plus collection.
Yeah.
which is they're curating like 10-ish or more what they called defining PS4 games, which will be available at launch, remastered, just download and play, no additional fee. So if you're already a PS Plus member, which you probably are if you're buying a PlayStation, you will be able to pick up some major titles like God of War, Detroit Become Human, Monster Hunter World, I think, is in there.
Yeah, no, I got a list. It's God of War, Last of Us Remastered, Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, Battlefield 1, Monster Hunter World, Fallout 4, Final Fantasy 15, The Last Guardian, Ratchet and Clank, Infamous Second Son, Days Gone, Bloodborne, Detroit Become Human, Batman Arkham Knight, Mortal Kombat 10, Persona 5, Until, Resident Evil 7, Biohazard.
Which, by the way, for no additional... well, obviously you have to buy a PS5, which is very expensive.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's very, but it's the... We can spoil that. That wasn't until the very end of the presser, but we can spoil that they announced at the end the full big boy disc drive version is $499, the same price as the full big boy Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
And then the discless version is actually a full $100 cheaper, all digital.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't predicting it would be quite that much of a cut, but they went it. I assume they're planning on that one on making back some money on those sales instead, like through digital sales or something.
Mm.
Though also I could see why, right? Because digital you have to wait for sales. Like those don't ever usually get cheaper unless they do something. Whereas with physical Amazon can sometimes just decide to sell you. Like I don't really have much to talk about it, but I've got my Super Mario 3D All Stars. It got teleported to me yesterday on the release date. But Amazon just sent me their email that was like, oh yeah, we gave you best price guarantee, so we charged you the full $60, but actually the list price when it shipped was $50, so we're gonna refund you about $10. I'm like, okay, cool, thanks Amazon. So
yeah, no, you guys, you gotta remember, physical storage costs money.
Yeah. So, and Amazon is eager to move that stuff. And actually, I've already checked. I'm gonna get that best price guarantee on my Cyberpunk too, because that's already. I noticed that's listed as 50, like 49 something. Not.
Oh, wow, really?
I believe it's gone down. I might have misremembered, or it might fluctuate up and down. I don't know, but I think I feel like it was smaller. That's also another fun one. Is so I can spoil that part.
Oh yeah, no. I bet I know why. It's because the PS5 out, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna have a PS5 version of it.
They are, but also Cyberpunk has said that they've tweeted this. You will, I believe that if not full, the PS5 has pretty good disc-based compatibility with PS4.
Mm-hmm.
And they have confirmed specifically that Cyberpunk is one of those games that will be, you can literally just pop your PS4 disc in your 5 and play it basically in higher res.
So it gets the glow up.
Yeah, it gets a free glow up. Which they joked it's kind of like a launch game because it comes out like a week after.
It comes out literally a week after.
Yeah. So that's gonna be fun for me because so I've pre-ordered a PlayStation 5. Well, so we can while Spider-Man is playing because they're doing the gameplay demo right now. So pre-orders turned into kind of a clusterfuck.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know who did it first, but it seems like internally Sony was planning on not offering pre-orders until like Friday, possibly with some exclusivity. Like there were people who signed up to be notified for pre-orders and stuff and so on. So Sony looked like they were going to hold back a little bit from the date. But retailers are retailers, and if you know the retail business, you know they're like this. Like Lucky said, physical storage takes space. Those motherfuckers got PS5s. They need to sell those shit.
Mm-hmm.
They need to get that stock out of there, or at least know they're going to get rid of it so it's not hanging around so they can, move something else in there. So I don't know who did it first. I think it was Walmart or Best Buy, but people started selling. And once one starts selling, everybody starts selling.
Oh, yeah.
So the initial stock got sold out pretty good. And I was just like, I started seeing things selling out, and then the Amazon link went up, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to bite the bullet. It's a pre-order. I can always cancel it if I, have an emergency and can't do it. But at least today, I don't know if you've seen it, but
I saw it.
Yeah, okay. Somebody posted in games that
Sony's like, okay, that was kind of a close. They didn't say it in the exact same words, but
they didn't swear, but they were like, nope, that could have been better. We're sorry. And they're gonna allocate more stock to retailers. I believe Walmart already tweeted they're gonna have more out in the next couple of days, which
honestly,
is good because you missed.
Literally slept in on it.
You slept through it. You took an hour-long nap and they were gone. They were fucking gone.
Yes. Oh man, but I do want to say, good on Sony for just straight up being all like, okay, we goofed.
Yeah, and like I said, you can't really this is one of those great classic things of, like, you can't really rein in retailers. Like, I know some people will not necessarily, like, give their stock to Amazon right away, in order to give other retailers or their own stores time. But, like, I'm sure Amazon, well, okay, they're probably not done. It's still got a couple months out. But, like, Amazon is already reserving the fucking warehouse space. Because my pre-order hasn't been canceled, but Amazon did give me an order and be like, whoa, dog, there's going to be high demand. This may not arrive to you literally when it releases. Sorry about that. The usual pre-order thing. Just because it's the classic Amazon problem of, they're not going to necessarily be smart and be like, oh, you're in Florida. We've got a truck full of PS5s in Florida. We'll send you one of those. They're going to be like, okay, order 356,000. This guy gets a PS5. Well, shit, his PS5 is in Nevada, so shipping. You know, because they're everybody's going apeshit for PS5s right now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so honestly, I brought that up to bring up the PS5 Plus collection. I owned a PS5 pretty close to launch. I just, don't have infinite time, so I'm honestly okay with the idea of them bringing back games. And some of those games I already own because of PS Plus. I think I already have Detroit Become Human. I just never got around to playing it. But
honestly, I think another reason for the PS Plus collection is because with the PS5 freshly launching, they're gonna not have anything to do for.
Yes, a couple of things have actually gotten delayed. I think they've only got like 5 confirmed first-party launch titles. Or something. Some of which are available on back-gen, like people are talking about Miles Morales. You don't have to buy a PS5 to play that. You might want to because it looks really sweet.
Yeah, I do.
But yeah, I think the big one is going to be Demon's Souls.
Yep.
Demon's Souls remake. That's a big boy up there. They're going to do Little Sackboy Adventure, which is probably fun, but not necessarily a big seller. And they got a few more. Right now, also, like I said, I'm literally watching the showcase back. They're rolling the Harry Potter trailer. That looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, so the launch titles are... Wait, hang on. These ain't the launch titles. You lied to me. Let's see here.
But yeah, like you said, while Lucky's looking that up, the collection basically gives you a whole bunch of games, which, especially if you're starting new with this, or you're... Because they didn't undercut Xbox on the price, but they undercut them on the date. They're doing it a week before Xbox, I think, or something like that. So yeah, there's a little bit of that going on there. But the point is, there's only going to be a few exclusive games available at launch. So their selling power is like, hey, you get your PS Plus, you can get a whole bunch of games, just download and play right away. All of our really good titles in next gen, which is really I think a smart move. Like, they've been talking about how they don't want to do the full Game Pass style experience. They don't want to be like, hey, we don't want it to be that you pay $60 a month or whatever, and we give you a bunch of games free in a catalog or whatever. Like, we don't want to add additional costs to do that. We want to just have it be like, the way they're phrasing it is like, you buy the games you want to buy, and then, you handle them. I think there's pros and cons to both, but they understand also that Game Pass is a big selling point of the Xbox, so they are, I think, trying to do some amount of like subscription gaming, but still, pretty interesting.
Pretty interesting. So yeah, so it looks like for first party launch titles, we have Astro's Playroom, Demon's Souls, Destruction All Stars, Marvel Spider-Man's Miles Morales, Sackboy: A Big Adventure. Then they also have third party launch titles, which is Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Cyberpunk 2077. That's right, because it releases along the PS5 worldwide launch on November 19th. That's right.
Yeah, because I think it's North America, like
Europe and Japan, I believe.
Yeah, first, and then everywhere else is like a week later, which makes sense because they have to distribute those.
Yep. Then Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War releases November 13th. Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, Destiny 2, Beyond Light, Godfall, Fortnite, Observer, System Redux, and Watch
Are they
Dogs.
doing the thing with Destiny where they package all the DLC into a release again?
Let me see here.
If they do that, I might have to pick that up. I know I got it free with PS Plus, but also I do that DLC though.
Beyond. Let's see what we got here.
I like Destiny 2, it's just I play it I like both Destinies, I just play them very intermittently.
Oh no, it's just the expansion where they introduced the new element, the frosty stuff. It doesn't look like it's
they're not full blown. Okay, it's just a release, there's no like bundling. Okay. I'll wait for Destiny 2 Game of the Year. Okay, thanks, Spongy. Bye.
Bye.
You'll do it. That's how I played all of Destiny. I bought the big boy collection, which was fun. But yeah, so they've got a few. Cyberpunk is kind of a launch title because of the delay.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, that works fine for me because that pre-order has been locked in forever. So I'm like, they say it'll play just fine. Well, that's okay by me. Okay, let's not do that.
Oh yeah, well yeah. So talking about the game trailers, yeah. First it was Final Fantasy 16, then Miles Morales, then the Harry Potter game, which actually looks kind of wild. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. I think they've been holding that one in for a while. It's been a bit since there was a big boy Harry Potter game.
Well, I think here's the thing. That's keeping me interested. It's not Harry Potter. It's Hogwarts.
Well, yeah, it's got the Harry Potter branding, but it is called Legacy of Hogwarts.
Yeah, where I believe you're actually in the late 1800s.
Yes, they do say that in the trailer. So yeah, you're in the past, so you don't got to worry. Like obviously, because magic men's, they can live a while. They can do some stuff where you can meet some characters, maybe. Because I believe Harry Potter is set in like the late 90s, I believe canonically.
Mm-hmm.
So you can probably meet some characters who exist, but you don't got to worry about the plot or anything. So that'll be give them a good chance to kind of set up some stuff, maybe reference some old events, but also keep it fresh and loose, which is good. But yeah, graphically it looks pretty impressive, and it's got a lot of. I assume it's going to have a lot of interesting elements. We'll just have to see how it plays when they give us more detail. I think they've been working on that one for a few years, and Sony got to pop the cherry on that and talk about it.
Yep. After that was Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Yep. They did a pretty cool section. One of the things that they've been trying to hype up about the single player campaign in particular is that you can have multiple paths in stories. And I'm sort of wondering if the segment that they showed was one of them. Basically, the segment is you and your Spec Ops boys basically go to an airfield and are charged with taking out a target. The sniper,
who is codenamed Arash, by the way. There were many jokes in our community when that was happening.
Takes a shot and miss, which cues a sequence in which the plane attempts to take off.
Well, it's not. Well, yeah, you do miss. You miss the target. The thing is that he's standing in front of a guy, the bullet strikes the first guy and then deflects, which is a real thing. That's why you don't shoot through people. That's dumb.
Yeah. But as I said, like, depending on
which could entirely be scripted. That's how something happened in the first Modern Warfare. You took a sniper shot and it... But also, like you said, it could be that maybe you could have done that a different way, too.
Yes. I'm not entirely sure. That's the thing. We only saw it from the one angle. But it was actually very action-packed. They showed off a lot of abilities, like you can actually run up and use people as body shields, which I thought was pretty interesting. They did a small vehicle segment, and they showed off a little toy. It was an RC bomb.
Yep. Very fast RC bomb.
It was a little interesting segment of you're this tiny car with a bomb on it, dodging other vehicles and whatnot. And, in good old fashioned, they blow up the engine of the train, the plane, and it goes crashing, and everyone is swearing at this point.
Yeah. Also, I want to say that you talk about the hostage thing. Like, there's a lot of, like, really... They definitely don't shy away from, like, the brutality. There's, like... There's one where they, like, stab a guy and pull his gun and shoot him in the face. The first guy, he grabs a human shield. He pushes a button prompt to grenade, which means he grabs a grenade, pulls out the pin, stuffs it in the guy's jacket, and shoves him away. Like... There's a lot of zero fucks being given. I'm kind of hoping that they're trying to Pulp Fiction it up a little bit,
just give it that little bit of extra level of ridiculous, because the game, like, I believe they said that the segment they were in was in particular in the 1980s, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and honestly, it sounds like they're trying to that seems like that's a theme they're going for with Cold War and with the Black Ops series is like, we're gonna do some ludicrous set pieces. This is Call of Duty. Like, the age of random cyborg limbs is over. We're gonna just, just do big showy Hollywood set pieces because that's what you're doing. You're playing a Hollywood movie kind of thing.
Let's just have the big poofy, I don't even know what to call that fucking hairstyle, but when you see it, you're just like, that's 80s as fuck. And the giant aviators. Yeah,
I love that. I love the aviators. The next trailer they showed was Resident Evil 8 Village, or just possibly Resident Evil Village. I don't know if the number's actually in it. It's weird.
Well, technically the number's in it.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I don't know if they call it, RE8 Village, or if it's just RE Village, and then it's like, but also it's 8. Ooh. This one appears to have, like, vampires and werewolves and shit.
I'm okay with that.
And it has the best part is the bit after the title drop is they have a fat merchant who's like, if it's looking all you're doing, that's fine, kind of thing. Like a bit of a callback, because
oh man, I love the fucking arms merchant in fucking 4. He was like one of my favorites.
Well, yeah, that's what I was about to say. I feel like 8, funnily enough, it seems like it's a very strong callback to 4. Because 7 was very much a callback to like classic Resident Evil, spook house kind of shit, death traps, that kind of thing. And 8 seems very much like and that would make sense because, well, they did do an HD, but they did not fully remake the original Resident Evil. But they've remade 2 and 3. Mm-hmm. No word on remake 4, but it does definitely seem like 8 has a lot of spiritual stuff. Not that I'm an expert in Resident Evil or anything, but if I wanted to be, I could with PS Plus Collection.
Hey,
there's fucking Biohazard's in there.
I might play that. I don't know.
Well, yeah, we've long talked about doing that one, like as a stream.
Honestly, I feel like if we don't necessarily have to be a guy, I think we could probably figure out something where I can give you a live feed and you can just watch and react with me.
Yeah, we could probably do something over Discord and make it so that neither of our internet connections explode.
Yeah, probably.
Because people be doing that all the time in this environment, in the Backstreet Boys reunion tour.
Yeah. But, like, I'm very interested in Resident Evil 8/Village because I just looked at it. We haven't had a new Castlevania since 2014.
Yes, because that's made by Konami.
Yeah.
Rip us.
Rip us. I was like, God damn it.
I think Bloodstained was cool. That's by the guy who made Castlevania.
I should pick up Bloodstained.
I really should at some point. Konami has this problem where I feel like they keep bleeding their classic devs, and their devs just go on to make their games, but without Konami. Like, Kojima left Konami to go make the most Kojima-ass Kojima game ever. Death Stranding. Which, by the way, I don't believe is in the Plus collection. It's interesting. Maybe it's too new.
I think it's too new.
Yeah, because actually we had this discussion talking about the collection. You said that P5 is in there, but not Royal. Vanilla P5. Because that only came out... I expect it's because that only came out this year, and I don't we don't know necessarily about the exclusivity or anything going on there, or just if it's like it's too new for them. Because I mean, and also to be fair, they're marketing it as these are the games that define this console generation. Royal didn't define the generation. Royal only came out this year. Vanilla Persona 5 was one of the defining games of this generation. Like, it's a big fucking deal.
Big deal.
So big a deal that I constantly see... What's up? You need a pause?
No, but I'm gonna take a drink of this alcohol, and you should probably do the Patreon read.
Oh, yeah, we jumped right in, didn't we? How long have we been going? We've gone for like 30 minutes. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's What's Up? We're fast and loose.
Woo!
So lucky you guys take a drink, and I'm gonna remind everybody that this episode is brought to you by patrons like Adam DeHarp, Ahiga Comics, Architect 10, Blacklist OG, Carlos Qua, Jeremy Vasquez, Kylie Denton, Legendary Ball Hunter, Liam Kessler, Rogue Robin, Shawnee P, some guy named Bob, Soda-san, 0424, 723, Video Gamer 75, and Zach Reed. Thank you for your support, everybody. We appreciate it. If you like us and want to see us do more, consider supporting us on Patreon.
That's good.
It's super great. And it helps fund PS5s, which are not just a personal expense. Because you better believe if I get a PS5 right away, I'm gonna throw my fucking Elgato on that thing, and I'm gonna be like, PS5 stream, bitches! I'll have games to play right away.
Yeah. But I had to stop and make it because I was getting a little coffee. I was like, I need a drink. But I was like, oh no, I can't drink. He has to read the Patreon intro. No!
Alright. But yeah, so RE8 looks neat.
Yeah, it looks very neat. Where was I? So yeah, I definitely want it because I'm pretty sure from what I've heard, the protagonist in 7 is the protagonist in 8.
Yes,
I believe.
That's what it looks like because he name checks his wife Mia and he sounds like the same guy.
Yeah, and I think like at the beginning, I think he says like Chris, what the fuck or something.
Yeah, because slight spoilers for 7, but Chris Redfield appears at the end for a cameo to remind you that this is actually in continuity.
Wild.
So apparently 8 is also in continuity.
Cool. Let's see here. After Resident Evil though was Deathloop.
Yeah, which is just more of the same. I've been sold on Deathloop since the first trailer. They just keep being like, Deathloop exists. It's an Bethesda Arcane game. Buy it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy it. Jeez.
Yeah, they seem to. This time I think they tried to explain a little bit more of like, you literally only have 24 hours to kill everyone, and depending on your actions, you might have some opportunities that you wouldn't otherwise.
Yeah, they explain the time loop mechanic in more detail. So it's like, the example they give is like, okay, one of the guys you need to kill is Igor with an E. He's a scientist. He's doing some science stuff. So you can just run out to his science experiment quarry and kill him. But then he's there at night because he's doing science. Do you have enough time to like run back and make it to this party that another one of the guys you need to kill is throwing, where everybody's invited but none of them ever show up? Which makes it sound a lot like that could be like one big solution, is to literally get everybody in the party and kill them all at once. Though that's probably going to be harder because they're going to have a lot of mooks with them. But anyway, so basically it reveals that, okay, in a different loop, you go back, you sabotage Igor's experiment in the morning so he has no reason not to go to the party, and then you can kill two birds with one stone. Literally, that's what they call it. So, like, it's got a fun mechanic and stuff to it. That just seems like it sells the stuff. I guess the idea is it does. I'm slightly concerned about whether or not it like sticks. Like, you have to get all 8 at once, right? I believe. So it's kind of like, okay, I hope that's not too troublesome. But at the same time, we've talked about this with other games, right? If it's fast enough in that iteration, right? Like, it's not going to be a huge problem. Hopefully, it's just not really frustrating if you have to keep doing it over and over again, you know?
Oh, excuse me.
And then after that, they announced, this was a big, I feel like this was kind of a big surprise. Like, a lot of people were kind of like, what's going on right now? The Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition.
We have many hype people for this.
Yeah, we have a lot of, I'm not a big DMC guy, but I understand that a lot of people are.
So I like to call myself a DMC casual. I mean, I like Devil May Cry, but...
Yeah, I've never really played, but I usually like the style of games. I'm just, you know, the problem is that Nintendo's gotten really, really tight with Platinum and Bayonetta, so that's a solution I have to solve myself on the Switch. Anyway, so they announced a special edition of Devil May Cry 5, which isn't that weird. I feel like they do that a lot.
No, they do.
Actually, that seems like that's very much a Capcom thing, like releasing your games over and over again with enhancements.
I'm pretty sure they've done this for like 3, 4, and 5, where they release a special edition and you get to play Virgil. I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, you get to play as Virgil and some other stuff. Also, obviously, next-gen tune-up. It also, I believe it's shown in the trailer, they've increased enemy density. Yeah, that's
in a lot of places.
Yeah.
So you can kick ass of more guys. This one is not fully PlayStation exclusive. It's just going to be, you can buy it at launch on PlayStation, but it's also coming to PC and stuff, I believe.
No, nothing has been redone as many times as GTA 5.
No, I believe they confirmed GTA 5 is also coming to PS5.
Please stop.
It's making them so much money, Lucky. I don't think you understand.
No, I do understand. I want people to stop playing it so they'll make a new one.
But they won't, though. They keep making new content, and it's really good. Fucking Achievement Hunter has been making GTA 5 or GTA Online videos since it launched. Like, once a week, nonstop. And it's... Now, obviously, some of that is they have some Let's Plays they do, which obviously for scheduling of just fucking around. But, like, no, like, usually there's new content. There's new types of races, vehicles, whatever. They've done a lot of crazy stuff. Ah, there's a third human. I see him. It was an Oddworld guy. That's why we didn't remember, Lucky.
Oh.
There's a guy talking about Oddworld. No dunks if you like Oddworld. I don't have never played any of those games, and
I have. I like Oddworld. It's a very hard game.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see how this one turns out. Yeah, that was the next one.
Oh, let's see.
It reminds me a little bit of looks like kind of like a Lemming type thing.
It kind of is. Basically, you're in control of Abe, and your job is usually to gather up your capture people and get them to safety, usually through a platform puzzle of dangerous enemies and death traps. It's a little wild. Launched originally on the PS1.
And that makes sense why it's making a comeback.
Mm-hmm. Right. So the next one...
Well, like, all right, now I have to take a pause and go pee.
Oh, okay.
I do actually have to do that. I'm gonna unpause. We're back.
All right, we're back.
Yeah, so you were saying this. I believe this next trailer caught a lot of people off guard.
Yeah, it did, because at first I didn't know what it was. So basically, the trailer starts out with just a scrolling back shot with a mechanical voice saying, "Gregory, I'm sorry, it was just a glitch," and you just hear a child sobbing, and this goes on for a while, and then you hear a male voice go, "Be still, Gregory. I think she's found us."
Yeah, but
and they do the a jump scare kind of affair.
Well, before they do that, there's one more pan shot, which is it shows dun 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 Freddy Fazbear in a giant gold statue, and you're like,
"Oh yeah, that's
fucking Five Nights?"
Yeah, and it is. It's fucking Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, and I'm like, did he finally make enough money that he can make a full console game?
Yeah, it seems like we finally got enough for Scott Cawthon to do fucking AAA Five Nights. Because this trailer's super high res.
It's super high res, and I'm like, are we meeting some fucking GLaDOS versus the fucking Terminator bullshit here right now? Maybe.
I don't know. We'll have to see what it is. It looks like there's a lot of like complex map stuff, and like a lot of big shiny areas to see what kind of stuff it is. That'll be interesting to see. That is a game that I will be happy to watch other people play, because people will. I'm not gonna do it. But people will play it.
I wonder, are you going to have an animatronic on your side for once?
That's kind of what it sounds like. There is a robot voice.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the next big trailer was they brought back Demon Souls.
Yep. They actually showed off gameplay.
Yeah, they started with the iconic scene of the Maiden in Black, so the world might be mended and all that, which a lot of people remember. I even remember that, and I really only sunk maybe 5 or 10 hours into that game.
I actually got fairly decent in Demon Souls, but I never beat it.
No, I think I got to like the second or third. Like all the bits they show in the gameplay, I'm like, oh shit, I remember this area. I remember those guys.
Oh no, yeah, like they did a playthrough of like the beginning area in like one of the first zones. They even showed the boss fight with the thing that's supposed to kill you, usually.
Yes, which he did.
You died,
and it plays the iconic sound. Obviously, I'm sure for the demo they've got this guy like super cranked stats because he's like, just one shot in all these Scrub Lord zombos. But there's the touch in the things, there's the fast travel, there's the fog, there's the messages and stuff. Everything in this, people have talked about Blue. I don't remember what all Bluepoint has done, but people have been talking about how Bluepoint is really good at this, and they are. This looks great, right? Like this, considering this was PS3, this is like what 10 years ago.
Oh yeah, no, it was early PS3. Actually, I'm curious. Let me see.
I remember those glowing blue eye boys. I remember those. Those guys were real fuckers. They have like special animations now when you kill them.
God, it came out February 5th, 2009.
Yep, no, it's been like 10 years. But so it looks really good, and I love how what they did for this presentation is, like we said, it's just gameplay. He just runs the opening zone. And like obviously, like I said, for purposes of recording this footage, the guy's like overpowered because he's killing some of these guys in like 1 or 2 hits, which if you're actually playing this at start, you probably shouldn't be, but still, it looks really good in profesh. And then after they do the you die thing, they do a montage of some areas. The other really cool thing about this, though, is that they do this all without HUD, too, which I assume there will be a HUD in-game, just they took it off to do cool stuff.
Who knows? They might have a option to disable your HUD and get real immersed.
But they show a couple of bosses. I remember the giant tower man.
Yeah, I do too.
That was a pain in the butt. There's a dragon.
I remember the dragon.
I'm just thinking, because that's a thing I think that happens, I believe, in the first Dark Souls also, and maybe others, is just the dragons flying by, setting shit on fire. I'm like, that's really a theme. Really a theme from. But they show off some of the fiery areas, fiery demons, some bosses I definitely don't remember. But it looks good. I could see picking it up. It is going to be like $70 at launch, though. That is the thing they're saying, is that the upper end price of games will go up. They did not confirm that all games forever will be $70, but some games are going up to $69.99 in price in MSRP. So the window is now like $40 to $60. Which, honestly, I mean, I know a lot of people have been talking about it, and some people are like, but will that money actually go to developers and whatnot? I don't know. That's the problem with it's a question with all corporations and stuff. But I will say, as we talk over Fortnite will exist on the PS5 ad. By the way, literally, audience, you could probably sync this up to watching the presser back. because I'm just doing that to remember what's in them for the most part. And if we feel like we jumped to the next trailer, we probably did literally jump to it. But anyway, I was just saying that, like, video games have been very stable at the 60 point for a long time, even though, as a lot of people have said, yeah, budgets have gone up a lot. So, I mean, I think it's fair in certain counts as the tech level rises to, like, inch up that price. Especially if it means that some developers will at least be more reticent to, like, monetize the shit out of it after. Because there have been some really scummy attempts to be like, okay, the game's only $60 or even less, but if you want to do anything, microtransactions. Now they're running the sizzle reel for PS Plus collection. Which, like I said, that'll be really interesting for me, because I haven't played quite a few of those games. And I believe I said, hey, guess what? Free is finally the right price to play Fallout 4. Because I've been talking about that. I'm interested in Fallout 4, but I've heard some complaints from people about it, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to pay full price. I definitely don't want to pay full price for it, though, because it sounds like Bethesda's it, and went back a lot to kind of what they did with 3, and I'm like, okay, 3 was okay, but also had some dumb stuff in there. I really want New Vegas type shit. Which is, I guess, what I got with Outer Worlds. So enough some Last Guardian stuff. Never got around to playing that. But hey, lucky, now you don't have to do that sale thing for Battlefield 1. You just get a PS5 and you can play the story mode of Battlefield 1 and then delete it.
Hey, yeah, I plan to. Let's see here.
Sorry, I was just thinking, it's very jarring because for Persona 5, they just show cutscene shots, which are just anime.
Anime!
Which is very weird to see compared to all the regular-ass computer graphics.
Well, when you think about it, gameplay of P5 is either you're running around, I guess they could have
or it's
done
RPG stuff.
Yeah,
like, they could have done it, but it would still be a little weird. And all the big boy iconic scenes are the cutscenes. You know, they showed all the jokery bits.
Yeah, they would have to like, actually, no, they could have used like the opening scenes of like Joker's Awakening and whatnot, but
which they did, which are animated.
Oh, that's right. It is animated. Fuck. That's right.
Yeah, all the big boy cutscenes in P5 are full blown animated. I expect it's because there's a lot of dialogue boxes otherwise.
Yeah.
Is how they work. That seems to be the thing, is they chose a lot of stuff without UI or with minimal UI. And then I think that was the last announcement they did before they did the actual big boy. Here it is.
Well, they showed off the PS Plus collection, yeah. They showed off...
now I'm seeing them do the swooping shots of the 5, which ends with them announcing the price.
Like, I like how they did it. It's like they just did the slow, and it's just like the music swells, ding.
And then, let me see if I can find this guy's title card. Because we talked about him earlier. It's the CEO.
I feel like it's a Jim or a James.
Jim Ryan. The man has 2 first names. The guy was like, I think Ryan's in there somewhere, but is that his surname? But yeah, so he does the actual, like, hey, me. Jim Ryan, Sony man here, talking about the thing, but then he does the classic one last thing, and the internet went apeshit.
Yeah, it is. For those, they basically confirmed that God of War, I'm tentatively calling it God of War Ragnarok.
Yes, that's the subtitle they showed, it seems.
Yeah.
A Dad of Boy 2.
Yep. Because if you haven't played the first, God of War for the PS4.
I'll pick it up on PS Plus collection.
Yeah. They live on, I want to say, 3 major cliffhangers. And you're just like, So, I've been waiting for this. I know a lot of other people have been waiting for this. And it's just like, yes. Yeah. I'm excited to see what Santa Monica is going to do now that they have the power of the PS5 underneath it.
Yeah, and well, first of all, some people were like, it's going to get delayed, but also they only said 2021, so that could be holiday 2021. We don't know. But there might also be delays because of the thing. But, yeah. And so, and just to sell home to people, I haven't played the God of War. I never played any of the God of War games originally. I was too much of a whittle baby man. As in, there was, boobs and fucking in those games. Definitely could not back in the PS2. But, I didn't play the remake yet. Just because, again, limited time, limited resources. But for, everybody else on the internet, God of War was just trending, all day on Twitter that day. At least to my feed. So, it's actually quite a big deal to a lot of people, which is good because it's a very big one. And they've
is.
and I think it's smart of them to put the first one on their 5 collection so you can go back.
It was God of War was a massive success when it came out. Just from like when I first saw it, I was all like, "What the fuck are they doing?" Then I played it, I was like, "Oh, this is what the fuck they're doing! Holy shit!" It was great. I've been waiting for it to come out on a PS Plus monthly thing, and it just never did. I'm like, why? I'm like, now I know why.
Yeah, probably because they were saving it and they're working on it. Like, obviously, some of those titles, like I said, like Detroit, a couple of those others in there.
I'm pretty sure they
Until
say Fallout
Dawn, I
4.
believe.
No, Until Dawn has been. Yeah, no, Until Dawn has been on the PlayStation Plus collection.
Yeah, like I have because of PS Plus, I have like Until Dawn and Detroit and stuff. I just haven't ever gotten around to playing them.
Didn't you get Uncharted 4 as well from PlayStation Plus?
Yeah, I think they put the whole Uncharted collection on there too. Like I've got all that.
Yeah.
It just Lucky won't let me play it until we can sit together. And I don't know, maybe if we figure out the whole like proper telecommunication thing, we can do that too. But we have to work on that. Mm-hmm. Remaster, whatever. Don't you fucking grammar Nazi me. I'll destroy you. I don't give a fuck. I didn't play those games. I don't care about your pedanticness. Somebody's trying to fucking actually be in the chat. I'll stab your parents.
Don't stab their parents. You need those. Oh, God, and I thought I'm the violent one. Shit. I swear, Omega, when you get upset, you just start threatening death and violence on everything.
I do get yelly, but also that was a reference. That's an Aaron Hansen special. I think that was him yelling at Mario Maker.
Probably. Still love the potty humor. Anyway, yeah, after that, they did the ending montage. By the way, the song is I Am Fearless by Easy McCoy, if you are interested in it.
It's a pretty good song.
It is a pretty good song. But yeah, so PS5 reveal. Very excited. But not to let, others take out the pace. Nintendo also did a mini direct where they showed off some of their third-party titles. Let's see, what fully did they show, actually? I know 2 off the top of my head, because those are the 2 I'm most excited about.
I gotta be honest, I don't remember at all what was in this one, other than the Monster Hunter one. Okay, we're talking about that.
Yeah, okay, so let's see here. So it's Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Monster Hunter Rise, which means they're going back to their handhelds. It looks like this Monster Hunter is going to take place in a more feudal Japan-looking society. And the monster designs reflect that. So with the armor designs, and you get a big fluffy wolf boy to ride around. I'm like, I'm getting this. How dare? And they've already confirmed that I believe if you pre-order the special edition of the game, you get a plush of said wolf boy. And it's just like, it's great. Let's see. Also announced Monster Hunter Stories 2. That's cool. Fitness Boxing 2. Let's see here. Balan Wonderful World. Rune Factory 5, I'm excited for that. I'm super excited for that. They still won't let me marry the dragon, though.
Rip.
Big rip. But that looks like that was it from there, so I am excited. Lucky will definitely be picking up Rune Factory 5 and Monster Hunter Rise. Penguin's saying the Palamute plush is only for the JP Collector's Edition. NA,
you get an amiibo and a pin.
Cool, I guess.
There's your deep defining difference between American marketing and Japanese marketing. Japan, here is kawaii thing. America, look at how fucking metal this dragon guy is. Look at him.
Oh. But I'm like, no, give me the plush. I need to take him on my shelf of plushes. With my fucking Pikachu that's wearing a hoodie and my Twilight Sparkle. Wait, no, that's Trixie. I don't have it. Wait, no, I still got a main 6 beanie collection. Yeah, I do. It's great. But oh my god, is it that actually big? What?
Well, holy shit, no wonder they're not doing it in America. What the fuck? It's huge. It's 55 centimeters long. What's that in burger numbers? 55 centimeters to inch. I think that's about 20? Yeah, that's like 21 and a half inches.
I am offended.
That's almost 2 feet long.
I want a big fluffy boy. How dare. Now I'm twice as offended. This is racist. But so yeah, that's video games. We talked about how they've already announced that there's going to be Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, right?
Yes, we talked about that. That was Nintendo's surprise announcement last week.
Yeah.
Seems pretty cool.
Yeah, but that got lucky in the Legend of Zelda mood, so I was playing some Breath of the Wild. I died many times. I am not L33T at all.
Well, you admitted to yourself, because you did that on stream.
Mm-hmm.
You streamed it because last Tuesday, yeah, I can talk about this now too. Tuesday specifically, I was very tired. I only got like 5 hours of sleep and couldn't go back to sleep, so I was very sleepy, and I said I just don't have the energy to play card games or anything right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I announced it, and then Lucky was like, I'll stream, and he decided to do Breath of the Wild, and then when your controllers ran out of batteries, you did some Fall Guys, I believe.
Yep.
But yeah, so you did it on stream, and you said that you hadn't played the game in like 2 years.
Yeah.
So I think that makes sense, because you were trying to do stuff like remembering how to perfect parry on the plateau, the Guardians and whatnot, which, if you don't pull it off, you die. That's just how it is. I mean, most of the times you die.
I remember one of the times I died is because I was backing up, and I backed literally off the plateau, and just fell. It's like, man, I missed the days of ledge grab. I really missed the days of ledge grab.
Yeah, no, now because you can climb forever, you gotta actually hit the climb button.
Yeah.
Not that Breath of the Wild isn't great. Still want that Breath of the Wild 2 news, Nintendo. Calamity's cool, but it's not 2.
Nope.
That's not a sequel. That is definitively a prequel, Nintendo. Please don't tell me you got those two things confused.
Different form, different style of game, and different time.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure it's not, because it is, Koei Tecmo, I believe, is taking the reign. They're the ones who made the first Hyrule Warriors. I believe they're taking the reins on that, so.
Yeah, no, first Hyrule is good.
Mm. And apparently people have remembered it existed, because I think the definitive edition is out of stock on Amazon right now. I have been side-eyeing it since I got my Switch. I just haven't had time, and, already got some pre-orders locked in. Got several pre-orders locked in this coming year, so I think I'm gonna cruise control on buying rando video games.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And honestly, like I said, I pre-ordered Mario 3D All Stars. I've already played a little of 64. If we don't have any other Switch news, I can talk about that a little bit.
Go for it.
Yeah, so I've only been playing Super Mario 64. So if you don't have it yet, if you're concerned about the limited or stuff, I'll tell you some stuff at least. It's so, I didn't own an N64. It took me, I had a big gap. I own still a Super Nintendo, which I believe is functional. Then I didn't get another Nintendo until Wii. So I skipped some stuff in there. That's why I'm super excited for stuff on Switch. Like, I talk about how, I'm glad because I'll be able to actually myself fully play Super Mario Sunshine. I've only been able to, like, watch friends or occasionally play on their GameCube kind of thing. The classic move.
Yeah, I never got to play Sunshine. I would like that, even though I did have a GameCube.
But I will say, so I booted up 64, and I am familiar with that game's core concept because there was a very, very nice 3DS remake, or not 3DS, just regular DS. It's been so long, and they've done a couple iterations. It's hard to think of that as separate. But no, on the original DS, it was one of their launch games. They did a remaster, which looked much better and had new gameplay and stuff. This is not that. And honestly I gotta be honest, maybe it's just because I pulled it out of my dock and played it while laying in bed last night. It's not really that remastered. I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's on the tiny Switch screen. But this is definitely no real attempt made to spice it up or anything. The camera is the old version where you tap it and it like, like, no smooth camera control. So I'm like, okay, alright, I see what you're going for. And it's got 3 games on it. That's cool. I'm actually thinking to myself, I'm probably not going to be able to play it docked if I do actually do Galaxy. But I also don't know if I will. There's no, like, achievements or anything, and I still own a Wii, and I still own Galaxy on that. I mostly, like I said, getting it for the 64 and the Sunshine, and then also if I can play Galaxy all in one, there's that. Who knows? Maybe I could stream it. We found out that Nintendo is a little more relaxed about streaming, and I need to test streaming for my Switch sometime. I'm pretty sure it's just plug and play, but I've never done it, so, should make sure. But, yeah, it looks like it's just, we made the game HD. We've made no efforts to patch any gameplay or anything. We just mapped the controls, and we're emulating it, basically, in a slightly higher definition. So, while he doesn't look as squonk, as he did on the 64, it's still pretty, like, true to feel, and everything. So, if you're looking for, like, really spicy HD remasters. It's not that, but if maybe you haven't played those games in forever, it's still a really good deal. And apparently it's gone down in price already on Amazon, so, you know, if you're interested, try it out. I'm still waiting for that 3D World full remaster as well. I don't know when that's coming out. That's a game that I missed as well, but that was on the Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems fun, and like I said, I just started up 64 because I was just like, let's play this casually. Because like I said, I'm relatively familiar with all the parts of that game, but I'm sure I'll have more to say because it'll be my first time when I get to Sunshine, because it'll be my first time actually like fully playing that one. Like I said, and it's a really popular one for a lot of people. But okay, that's the Switcho. Let's see, that's the Switch, that's the PS5. We're at about an hour. We front loaded with some solid video games.
Video game.
We've given the people what they want and what they are expecting. I say expecting because I've almost assuredly put something like, did we get a PS5 in the title or something? I know what I'm doing. I'm running a YouTube channel here.
Yeah. Give us life-affirming money juice. Oh, let's see.
Well, when you say that immediately makes me think of YouTubers. Because all the Hololive EN girls have gotten their monetization and have been doing some super chat streams, and
all of them have gotten super emotional over it too.
Yes, but and it makes me super emotional, not just for them but also for me. It's like it's so they get several red super chats. I've never seen a red one otherwise. I didn't even know it went to red.
Yeah,
and it's an interesting feeling because I'm like, I am not embittered towards the girls of Hololive. I am certain that some people are just jealous bitches, but whatever.
Honestly, if I was to take this round of opinion, I'm not upset at the girls for achieving success. I'm more upset at myself.
Yes, it's very, and I'm not even really that upset. It's just kind of like, oh, I wish we could do that goo, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not really mad at anybody. I'm not mad at our fans. Certainly, I'm like, all right, I'm not expecting you to drop.
No.
I'm not expecting you to drop like $100 on me. That would be crazy.
We yell at people when we actually yell at people when they start giving us money. Like, you already have a membership. Stop giving us money. Stop.
Yes, when we have some people who are very generous, but they like to drop in a little tip, and I'm like, oh, don't do that. I'm trying to get other people. In.
I think we mentioned this on Let's Talk FGO. We could just give everyone to give us $1 a month. We'd be fucking set.
Yeah, no, that would be, even if we split that literally 50-50, that would still be, we'd make, $1K each. Which would be like, $12K a year. That's the start of a living expense, not counting ad rev.
Yeah.
Which, and I'll say this, the ad rev is interesting and good, but it's also very swingy. Like, we made a lot last month for us, like our biggest month ever. We're probably not going to make that much this month. Mm-hmm. And some of that's just the wave of the future. But we'll see how it shakes out. We are gonna do some more memberships, though. I think we've got a couple more people in. And hey, always interested. The more people who sign up, the more emotes we get. Lucky has drawn several more that are on our Discord, ready to roll.
I should probably start working on the badges. I'll do that now. I can work on it. I'm just playing Azur Lane and reading isekai manga.
I am also playing Azur Lane. But yeah, so that was just like, they all did the whole super chat thing. Like, it was actually funny because a lot of people were, at least in our community, a lot of people seemed worried about Ina because she did not schedule a super chat stream. Mm-hmm. But that was because she'd already scheduled her second Call of Cthulhu stream. So she got very emotional at the start of that because monetization was clearly on. I actually got served an ad when that stream started. So I was like, oh, yeah, no, she's got her monetization. It's fine. And then people started doing a little super chat-o and, like, she started crying on stream, basically.
Mm-hmm. Precious.
Very emotional, very adorable. Ina's great. Love her so much.
She's good.
I think out of the EN crew, Ina is probably my favorite.
I
know a lot of people repping the shark.
She's definitely my favorite.
But, and not to say anything bad about Guar. She's great. I've been watching some of her stuff.
I think Guar's my second, and then it's Amelia in a solid third.
Yeah, Amelia and Guar up there for me. I like Calliope, but, no, and again, none offense to her for her content creation. You do that hustle. It really seems like she's in this for the music, right? Like, yeah. She really seems like a musician first. But I gotta be honest, I appreciate also that a lot of these, like, and I know eventually they're probably gonna do some crazy long streams I'm not gonna watch, but I appreciate that most of their stream time slots are only like 1 to 2 hours. Like, that's cool. That's manageable. I can watch Ina play Call of Cthulhu for like 2 hours. But I don't really want to, as cool as it is, I don't really want to sit around and watch like a launch party for a song. You know, Calliope's music is good. That's great. It's just, that's not the kind of streams I like to watch. Like, that's the kind of thing we can catch on clips, right?
Yeah.
And Calliope's only done like one gameplay, so like I like her a lot, but she just hasn't done a lot of videos that I've been interested in watching yet. So like her attitude and speaking style is pretty fun. Like I like her. Though I gotta say, it's weird. I don't know what time zone she's in. It's a very interesting thing, right? Like watching all of them speak. Have you seen all of the EN, like at least in clips and stuff, Lucky?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so like I believe Kiara said that her first language is German. So that actually, to me, that's like, okay, so that's why she speaks English a little bit stilted. It's not her first language. She speaks it very good, but it is slightly stilted. I guess that means she's probably European originally. I don't know if she's in Europe right now, but that might make sense. I would say it seems like probably somewhere between, well, I don't know. Calliope speaks English one of the best. Like, her speaking voice is very natural and very, Americanized. I would guess she probably has spent some time in the States if she's not from there. Mm-hmm. But also her time zone is like she streams at like 5 o'clock in the morning to me. So I'm like, okay, you are not in America because you're not starting a stream at like 3 a.m. on the West Coast. Probably. I don't know. We'd do that, but other people. Hawaii could be. That is far back. That could also explain the picking up the Japanese. Hawaii's a weird one. Time zones are fun. But yeah, so I feel like Calliope has some of the most practiced English, with Amelia also being very good. She usually streams like kind of later in the evening. Ina's is also pretty good, though I feel like there are a couple times where she didn't know some words, but also that could just be I'm a huge nerd. Like, and I'm like, I read lots of books, but also she says she reads, so I don't know. Guar Gura, that one, that's the other thing, is the character stuff. I don't know how much we're being, like, on character stuff. I saw some clips of her, like, playing Maneater. I didn't actually have time to watch the full stream, but, like, there's a certain clip where of her fighting an alligator, and she's like, what's alligator? I'm like, okay, I can't tell if this is the character or not, but I'm pretty sure that means that she's not American. Mm-hmm. Like, even though she doesn't speak, English with, like, a more European accent, I feel like most people in America would know what an alligator is, even if you've never seen one, but outside of North America, they basically don't exist, so that would be fair. Like, I'm trying not to have a focus, but it's interesting to kind of watch everybody, but most of them are very, very good English speakers. Though, boy, it's really funny to see some of the other ones try. There has been I believe since English launched, there has been a dedicated push to do more English language streams for the regular core Hololive girls, the JP ones. Some of which are more successful and interesting than others. I'm Dog. Corone playing fucking Mario Brothers. Have confidence. No confidence. Just her comedic delivery is perfect. Like she has great timing. It's so good. And she actually speaks English okay.
Yeah, no, she has the accent, but whatever.
I mean, she knows the words. Like, she's not. That's the thing I'm talking about. Like, the Hololive EN girls, if English is not their first language, which I bet it's not for all of them, like I said with Kiara, she at least has said that it's not her first, they at least have practiced speaking English to the point where they sound pretty native. A lot of the Japanese girls in Hololive who do speak okay English because they teach English in school over there, it's almost like speaking Spanish in the States. Most of them don't bother to sound like a native English speaker, but they have most of them who do actually speak and have a decent grasp of grammar and language. Lucky, did you see that clip of, so there's been two things happening with regular Hololive is, Gen 5 have been doing collabs with their senpais, and also they've been doing more English stuff. So two of those things came together for Polka and Coco play Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes.
Oh, I saw that. I haven't actually watched any of it.
You should. It is amazing. Everybody on the internet, look this up. I think the clip video is titled "Keep Talking and Polka Explodes," because Polka explodes a lot.
I think,
But basically,
I saw
Polka is doing the bomb defusing part of Keep Talking, so she's actually trying to describe the bomb bits to Coco, and doing this mostly in English, and Coco being Coco is she's just talking English back to her, for the most part. Like, she starts it by, like, Polka's calls, like, Coco senpai, help me, there's a bomb. And she's like, I'm at the club right now. I'm talking to hostesses, leave me alone. She's like, no, senpai, don't. It's great. It's hilarious. But they do a lot of the English speaking stuff, and she's like, and Polka's like, it says hold. And Coco's like, okay, then we'll hold it, because, again, Coco is a native English speaker. I believe people say her accent is Georgian?
Something like that, yeah.
USDA American beef, Coco. But there are a couple who speak pretty good, but it's interesting to see everybody and kind of their reactions back and forth. And honestly, in general, it seems like I don't know about the staff at, like, Cover and whatnot, the parent company, but at least all the other, what do you call it? Talent, I guess? Mm-hmm. All the other creators at Hololive seem super jazzed about EN. And they're doing pretty good. I saw a meme comp that said that Guar was at, like, 420 subs.
Blazing.
But yeah, so they're doing good. I feel like I'm pretty firmly in the hole. Like, Lucky still mostly just watches clips. I have literally queued up and gone, Ina's streaming Call of Cthulhu right now. Hold on. Click.
I watched Ina's art stream.
That's also another big thing about Ina. Ina, where she does drawing. Oh boy, there's some more ones. Oh no. Hachima and Marine trying to diffuse. Oh boy, I'm gonna watch that later. That's gonna be good. More English. But that's the thing talking about Dinamai is she is an artist and she's been drawing. Sometimes she draws her own fan art, and she revealed her power level in their first collab stream.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, it's cool. But she's been talking about how, and she's been super floored and emotional. She had to tweet this because she started crying, like I said, when her stream started with the super chat stuff. But she says that she's super happy that people have been telling her that they've been picking up their old hobbies like drawing and whatnot because she has started talking about it and doing art streams and stuff, which I think is super cool. And honestly, all of this really speaks to what I think sells Hololive and VTubers is, like I said before, authenticity. Like, all of these girls are so real. Like, they're real that they don't speak Japanese perfectly in the case of English, and they don't speak English perfectly in case of Japanese and others. They talk about their real hobbies. Some of them are good, some of them are not. Amelia is just a weirdo, as evidenced by her debut stream when she shot everybody up with space drug juice. She hasn't done anything that weird yet, I don't think, but she's definitely in the EN generation, the weird one. Calliope is focused on rap music and stuff like that. Like, they all have their own individual talents and kind of niches, but they are very authentic about what they do. Like Maury's technical problems. I think in a super chat stream, had some problem with her internet connection. I know Gura had a problem with her fucking modem, I think, in her debut stream. Hence where comes in. Like, yeah, so it's like, it all seems very real. And, shout out to them. And tonight we're gonna have another shitposting review, and it's gonna be Coco and Fubuki. That's gonna be great to see subbed later this week. Oh my. But yeah, I'm really interested to see what they do going forward. I think Calliope's got her first quote-unquote wine tasting stream going. Because that's one of Calliope's gimmicks is that everybody's got their little things, like Ina's always with her Dr. Oopsie. Calliope apparently drinks cheap wine all the time. That's her move. Not that she has to, because holy shit, she's got to be making a lot of big cuts on that super chat stuff.
I hope so.
Yeah, well, YouTube only takes it's a decent chunk, but I think they only slurp up maybe a third or a quarter.
Well, then it's also the agency's going to take their cut too, probably.
Yes, the agency does, but if you're doing big boyo, from what I understand, yes, they the agency pays the talent a salary basically, but it's pretty small, and then most of their profit basically comes from their own monetization and ad rev and super chat and stuff that they split with the company and YouTube. But even so, like, Coco, #1 super chatter in the world, was able to buy like a $9,000 converted mattress or something. So they're doing goo. Though it's always interesting, like, right, like, these guys are big sources of revenue, but YouTube still has to fight it a little bit. Some of them had problems with being demonetized and stuff, because some of them, like, show a lot of cleavage. Like, I think there are a couple of the earlier generations who, in classical Japanese sensibility of, like, you know, super cleavage powers, and then nowadays when they stream, they always make sure to stream from the shoulder up, so YouTube can't get mad. Stuff like that.
YouTube don't get mad over titty. There's other things to be mad over.
I mean, they have their content guidelines and stuff, and they're constantly fighting this battle of, like, advertiser friendly. Like, I'll say this, right? Like, YouTube's a corporation, you know, they're owned by Google and whatnot. While they may or may not have their own agendas, I think in general, if they could cut loose, they would. But they're still based in America, and so they still, you know, in hock to certain American sensibilities and the American government as it stands right now. Like, this is the whole thing with, like, a lot of kid-friendly YouTube channels getting blasted, and YouTube is like, listen, we don't want to do this, but the FCC is, like, making us, or we have to pay them shitloads of money, which we can't keep doing, because that is the thing. Like, most early fines are a slap on the wrist, but if you keep flaunting the rules, they will keep doing something until you stop, either because of legislation or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you'll go to jail or you'll start paying enough money it hurts. So they got to be careful, you know. And honestly, it's not the VTubers' fault. It's other people who ruin this for everybody.
Yeah, it is.
Looking at you, neo-Nazis, white supremacist propaganda, you fucked it up for everybody. Good job, because you wanted to make money at this. That's always a weird thing to me. Trying to make money while also being ideological. Like, we're not ideological at all. I mean, we're not fake or anything either. But I don't feel like we promote a message.
I think. Well,
not like as our sole goal. Like, we have our own values that we express, but we're not like, you should believe us and do things the way we do them.
Actually, that's our value. It's like, you don't have to listen to us. Fuck.
We don't know what the fuck we're talking about. If you want us to shut up, just turn that off. But also, please don't, because we need ad rev.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Man, no, but no. As like I say, we are real.
Yeah, we try to be authentic.
Yes.
Have that authentic quality. We don't really gussy ourselves up for YouTube. Like, we exaggerate a little. Like, you talking about me yelling at people. Like, oh, I'm not really that annoyed. I'm slightly annoyed, but I'm yelling more because I am on mic.
Oh no, trust me. Once Lucky becomes anime girl, there will totally be some hamming it up.
Yeah, well, you gotta ham it up.
Gotta.
You gotta have the personality and everything.
Mm-mm.
That's a pretty break against it. Hold on, that's a yellow flag on the scroll up. Sorry, somebody posted something that girls can be hams. Have you seen VTubers? Hamming it up, great. But yeah, okay. So I think that's the VTube hole. Gosh, did I spend all my ammo already? Damn, I did. Sorry, I'm playing the Azure Lanes. Oh, great! This is a fucking maze.
Suffer.
Yeah, I'm in map 4, and I'm like, oh shit, this is literally a maze. Oh, damn it, they're doing the thing where there's one more enemy than there is ammo.
This is why I like my Bismarck fleet. It's just like, because I have the oath certificate that actually reduces the damage penalty. So my team's just like, we don't give a fuck. We still blow.
Yeah, that's I usually because I'm still trying to work on that rune. So that's my fleet. So I'll probably send them after the boss after this because they're gonna run out of ammo. But it's not as big of a deal. We can talk about Azure Lane since I brought it up.
Azure Lane, trying to win back the title of horniest on main.
Oh yeah, no, they've going to go into apeshit, and actually this is a good transition because I know that because of the new event there was some Hololive stuff. I don't know if it's recent, but I saw a clip in our webvid channel that was apparently Marine married like 14 girls in a row. Sounds like her. So yeah, new event. What's this even called? Something with dreams?
It's like Dream Butterfly or something.
Yeah, because there's a weird dream world Inception-esque mechanic.
Dreamwaker's Butterfly. That's what it was.
That's a little awkward in English, but okay.
Whatever.
Yeah, no, that's not on you. That's on them. That's a little weird. Dreamwaker. Whatever. But they're doing a thing. There's dreams. There's a dream world. You hit a button. You do a transition. Dream stuff. It looks like it's God. There's so many new names. There's like 8 new ships. Is it Shinano?
Yeah, Shinano.
Yeah, she's the new UR. The first rollable ultra rare. Hopefully not necessarily a super sign to come. Though honestly, her percentage was like 1.6. I mean, I got one in 50 pulls, so
yeah, I got one in 100, which ain't the worst.
I mean, the pity rate kicks in at 200, so if you didn't hit it, that's, I guess, technically a win.
Well, no, I guess I spent 100 Qs. That would be 50 pulls, I guess I should say.
Yeah, same for me then. So we both came out about even. Yeah,
cool.
About 100 cubes, 50 pulls.
Yeah,
which I believe means that if we actually go to 200 on this banner, we can get a dupe. But
honestly, might need a dupe because I'm pretty sure the way you limit breaker is with the new Bullen's Mark III.
Yes, but you can only get like one of those a month or something crazy. It's a little. This is much like priority, the PR ships, the research ships. Azure Lane's not afraid to slow boat you. Like, son, you'll be here a while. It's okay. But yeah, so Shinano, our first 6-star available in the gacha. And I believe she's the dreamer. Like, I feel like the Azure Lane plot doesn't make any sense to me anyway. But at least so far, we've only been fighting sirens in the real world and also the dream world. It's a little weird.
Also, you get to fight. I think she's called Ash or Ember. You get to fight. It's
Takao Altar, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of. Oh, that was the wrong gate. Is this the okay? Where's the gates? So they have an interesting mechanic as like their new map gimmick, which is the Dream Gate system. You pop through a gate, you pop out somewhere. All right, there it is. Found it. You know, it's like freaking teleporter pads in Pokemon. It's not a huge deal. Oh, actually, that's funny. That's a loading screen with Shangri-La in it.
Yep.
I say that's funny because you can see this with Lucky's pulls, and you'll just have to take me on my word for it. But both of us, in our quest to get the new ships, both pulled a first-time Shangri-La in the raid up. Yeah, as a spook, and I'm like, huh, that's weird. But it was funny because we both did it. But yeah, so speaking of that also, there's a shitload of new loading screens. They did it again. And boy howdy, these loading screens, guys. Oh boy, there's so many. I don't even know which ones we could shout out, Lucky. There's a lot, and they're good. They're cultured. Cultured is a good word for it. Well, this is what you said with bringing Horny back.
Yeah. The one that keeps popping to mind is the Amagi and Shinano. They're just sitting on a thing, and it's just butt squishing together. I'm like, yes, this is good. Shinano is definitely how do you say this? It's the Kaga of the Akagi Kaga pair with Amagi and Shinano. I'm like, yes. Big fluffy fox wives. I'm like, yes, good.
Yeah, that would make sense. She's the blue Oni, the more relaxed one.
Mm-hmm. So I'm excited, and honestly, like, Horniness, and I do actually really like Shinano's design. It's very big sword energy.
Yeah, some of them have been calling her like White Tamamo.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, yeah, her profile, like her silhouette, does actually look a lot like how Tamamo and FGO's Final Ascension is with the gaze in the direction that she's looking.
Yeah, she's got a dynamic looking pose and is wearing a blue kimono. Mm-hmm. Hers has a little fan tied at the front. It's adorable. And she is a fox. Correct. Another big one people have been talking about who is the store reward is Super Rare Key, who a lot of people have been comparing to Ushi. Because she does have the big sword, the ponytail kind of action shot. Looks as good from the front as from the back, as we can tell from her swimsuit. I'm sorry, Azure Lane, but you didn't do a lucky bag or anything, and I don't think you'll siphon any money from me right now. I've got something to save for.
Yeah.
I've got a new waifu. PS5-chan.
You say that, but when the design came out, sir.
Oh, I mean, there's a lot of... That's just a pretty typical horny art thing to anthropomorphize. But yeah, there's a lot of sexy PS5 art out there.
Yeah, there is.
That's usually how I name my systems anyway, so...
What, PS5-chan?
Yeah. That's probably what I'll do.
I should totally do that.
Let me see. Even if I'm not thinking about it, there's the Surkroof one they're advertising. That's live 2D. That's the full 1K. There's Key swimsuit, Kashino. Kashino being the literal cowgirl. Oh, with her swimsuit, with her Bonhunker crushing that Manju, destroying him.
I love Kashino. I'm sorry. I love big titty cowgirls, okay? Okay.
She's pretty great. A lot of people were like, a lot of people have been comparing her to Taiho's size. Boy, that swimsuit, Kumano. That's the point reward one, Kumano, who's kind of got an Oni look, but she's got a certain thing. Did all the new ones get me? Yeah, it looks like, because there's Chiyoda and Chitose, who are, I'm assuming, sister units. They look very similar. They're both very red. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also got some new swimsuits. Swift Sure, Reno, Hermione, Icarus.
Didn't Kabuki do a stream of just her looking at the...
I believe several Hololives did, just looking at the skins and yelling about them. And we've got some more coming, too. Like, they've already started announcing there's another batch. We're rolling on in. They've come for your wallet.
Oh, no.
But, you're not gonna get it, guys. Sorry. I got a budget. Yeah, party skins, I believe, is the theme coming up. I mean, the event's just the event. There's not much to talk about that.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, Azure Lane. Your story is nonsensical. It really is.
It's super weird and high level, and I don't understand it or truly care. But the gameplay's okay. They're doing stuff. They made some changes to anti-sub warfare, which I think are good.
Oh yeah.
Now basically anybody can fight subs. It's just that ships and weapons that have specific anti-sub abilities do better. Like, you don't need to equip sonars to get the anti-sub effect.
It just makes it bigger.
Yeah, it just increases your range, so anybody where their subs can be inside the detection range, so you can still fight them. And now ships that had abilities do different things. I think it's a good patch. The sub warfare aspect was always kind of weird and frustrating.
Yeah,
and,
but
really specific. So
yeah, I think it balances things out well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that's it with Azur Lane.
Did they do the big guild update? I haven't looked at it at all. I probably should.
I don't think so. But if we're going to tangent slightly on Azure Lane news, I do want to mention that Funimation has announced that they're going to be selling the Azure Lane anime Blu-ray, but in a move that has upset a few people, me self included. They said they're going to be specifically selling the censored version of the Blu-rays, and I personally am like, why? That's literally
I mean, I know why, because they're trying to sell the stuff, and like, probably we're in a weird time. Blu-rays are expensive. They're probably trying to make sure they've got the most market possible. And I mean, Azure Lane does have some designs and some attitudes which might cause controversy.
This is true. Controversy. This is true.
I will say, I do kind of agree, though, that typically the Blu-rays is the place where you skip the TV edits. And that's a thing they're known for. That's part of why you're willing to shell out so much fucking money.
Yeah. It's like, Interspecies Reviewers is getting an uncensored release. It's being released technically as hentai, but it's uncensored. Who's doing that? I know you can pre-order on Right Stuff for it. Someone's doing it.
Yeah, and Interspecies Reviewers had an interesting thing with the whole Too Spicy for TV and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
Like they had a whole thing going on. I mean, that doesn't make any sense though for here, Tyranno King. There's nothing to say about China. That's like the TV edit version. This is the import to America, and it's Funimation, so it's only the import to America. Like I said, I'm assuming it's just because this is America, and they're like, we want to try and sell things right now, and not get exploded in controversy, which does happen sometimes. I mean, I would just give the fuck up because it's Azure Lane, right?
Yeah. Like I said, I'm more excited for, anyway, we're talking Azure Lane animes. During their big stream not too long ago, they actually did show off some previews for Slow Ahead, which is the slice of life manga they have going on. And I'm like, yes, good. Give me Naked Apron Uigen. She really wasn't naked, but it was pretty close.
Okay, but also, I mean, the developers also don't care. They're super horny. They make the Japanese version. The only reason why the version's censored in China is because the Chinese government are knobs. They don't care about how horny Azure Lane is. They know what they're doing. That's always the thing, right? Like, thinking about the game designing and stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure none of the people making the games care about how horny it looks. They understand the marketing. It's just that, like, what are they allowed to get away with by the Chinese government? And then in Japan, they don't give a funk, so that's where the quote-unquote uncensored version is, which sometimes isn't that uncensored, because you can always go more so Last Origin. The horniest game. The literally just porn game.
Before actually getting to actual porn games.
I mean, yeah, there's a fucking it's the Taimanin series. I don't remember which one it specifically is, but that is a porn series that has a gacha game which has porn in it, I believe.
Yeah, there's actually a couple other ones too, but usually like maybe some of them are like browser based and whatnot. I don't know. I don't like, despite being an absolute horn dog, Lucky doesn't play porn games that much.
Having consumed a few in my time, it's an interesting genre because you have to meet and match certain wants and desires, right? It's the same with all kinds of gameplay, where you're trying to get different things, so you have to, like, if you're making it a game instead of just like a visual novel or something, there has to be some game aspect to it, but then also, does that get in the way of the other thing, which is what most people are here for? So it's a very careful balancing act. That's a thing to think about, and to turn this into more TV-14 territory. That's the thing you should think about at all times in game design, is just like how you're going to get your feel across, but also if it's a game, it should still be entertaining in some format. Because if it's not, then why did you make it a game? Write a fucking novel, nerd.
Nerd!
The thing people talk about with, like, that's a classic thing with tabletop game design, where they talk about, people talk about, the railroading and the game master's novel and whatever. Like, are you genuinely trying to tell a story that's interactive, or... Ooh, sorry, yawn. Or are you just, like, doing a linear story, and then you really should just write your cheap-ass fantasy novel and try and sell it? Anyway. We were talking about Azur Lane. We talked about Slow Ahead.
How are you doing on Arknights right about now?
I'm doing okay. I'm about halfway through Bybeak's Coins. I gotta be honest, I'm not... It's mostly probably because I still play Arknights mostly at night, so it's a little hard to get super big brain, especially this week. Like, I usually can't get past, like, the like, going all the way to rank, like, 2 or 3. Like, trying to do 4 at once is usually pretty rough, but, I mean, I'm at least doing a couple every night, and working on the new stuff. It's still interesting. Again, some of the challenges are still bullshit, but I work on it, getting stuff. I did get, Amiya's Newsy costume also, finally. Can scratch that off my list. Because I missed it, but yeah, it's okay. I mean, I haven't got anything interesting on polls lately, but whatever, Spook City. You have anything to comment about Arknights? I know you're still...
No, I'm still plugging away, doing my grinding. I haven't really been pushing that hard on contingency contract like I probably should, but I got a lot to do.
I appreciate contingency contract for what it is, but I also accept that, much like Guildfest Challenge Quest, there's sometimes where I can just be like, nah, I'm not doing that. Why would I do that? I'm trying to go to bed.
Sleep is great. Alright, so... with Destiny...
About an hour and a half.
Oh, an hour and a half?
Yep.
With Destiny Child, we have moved on to a new world boss. It is Medusa. It's basically she is a long hair, glasses wearing, dragon tattoo wielding, scary lady. And it's great. But nothing much to report on that. I continue to enjoy the game, and I continue to keep playing it. Good. If we're talking other games, Lucky, I think, I don't know, maybe by the time this goes public, it might still be out, but Humble Bundle has a simulation game bundle out right now, and Elite Dangerous was in it, and I was like, I keep thinking about this game, and they keep giving sales, so fine. Fucking fine. Fine, you nerds. And I bought it. I've been playing it. I'm not sure I like it. So it's a very much a simulation game in the fact that you take place in the cockpit. You have to pilot from the cockpit. Kind of fun. But this is, in true simulation, this game has made me realize space is big.
Space is big.
It is very big.
You might think it's a long way down the road to the chemist, but that's just peanuts compared to space.
Like, in Elite Dangerous, you have several modes of transportation. You know, you have your regular cruising speeds, you have super cruise speeds, you have your hyper space speeds, and they're all, like, exponentially different from others. Literally, depending on your speed, it will take you years to get across a system. And it's wild, and usually, so that's why they have the system so called Super Crew, which is not quite hyper speed, but like kind of sublight, so you can
push in a solar system faster, right?
Yeah. And then usually your cruising speed is for when you're like around like some sort of orbital body, like a space station or a planet or a sun, which is very scary. I have almost burned up to death a couple times.
That's definitely a space thing. Space is fucking big. That's one of those things that's like I'm glad they give you a super cruise, because that's one of those things that like people know about that, like from like Kerbal Space Program. You're like, okay, I want to go to Mars. All right, your window is gonna come here, and then you gotta wait a year before the orbits line up. Like space navigation is actually quite complex.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad they give you some cost cutting time, but also I'm kind of like, no, yeah, that's a very hardcore simulation type thing.
Yeah. So now, and you can like regulate your speed. So like you can actually like if you like put yourself on the dot, because the way like I'm using the basic controls right now, and this is one of the things I have a problem with. So you can control your pitch by you can control your pitch and
yaw, I believe, is the other direction.
I believe it is. Is it pitch and yaw?
I believe it's pitch and yaw.
Yeah, with Wasset. So you can go you can point your nose up, you can point your nose down, you can point your nose left, you can point your nose right. Your mouse, controls your roll. Wait, no, excuse me. I fucked that up.
Oh, so
it's no, your mouse controls your pitch and your roll. So if I move up on my mouse, my nose puts up. If I move down on my mouse, the nose points down. I think that's how it is. It might be reversed. It might be inverted. I can't remember. But if I move left or right, I just start fucking spinning. I spin for fucking days.
No, I hate when they do that. I know why they do that, because that's one of those games that's like, buy a joystick, because I'm sure on stick controls that feels more natural, but that's definitely one of those things that flight sims do sometimes. It's just like, no, that doesn't feel right at all. I don't want to just roll like a ninny. I want to pitch over there. Yeah,
I know. So like, and it's very, very sensitive. It's like super sensitive. So what I've been practicing to do is not to use because when you go into stations, you actually have to do docking procedures. You actually have to, slow down, put down your landing gear, all that stuff. And the game is very kind in that they give you a automatic docking feature. But apparently, that's for pussies. And Lucky's being like, well, now you just call Lucky a pussy, and he ain't having none of that. So
yeah, that definitely. I mean, it's called Elite Dangerous. That definitely feels like the thing. I'm just like,
well, actually, it's also fair play because the automatic docking system takes up a utility slot. So if I can learn to dock and take up on my own, I can shove other shit in it.
I mean, yeah, that said, that definitely feels like a game developer community kind of thing. Like, all right, fine, you can fucking auto dock, loser. That was a thing that and I think it took a while to get, and I never got good at it. I need to try Kerbal on this computer actually because I got more RAM and stuff. That was the thing the Kerbal Space Program didn't have for a long time, even though definitely real spaceships do, is an autopilot to like auto calculate your vectors and stuff. Because otherwise you got to do a lot of space math, and I'm like, I like Kerbal Space Program a lot. I like going to space. I fucking love space actually. I love exploring space, but calculating like delta V and intercepts and stuff is a little too big brain rocket science for me. There's too much math. That's why I can't actually be a rocket scientist. You need somebody to go to space and like punch aliens and explore and whatnot and write about it. Sure, I'll go there. I'm bold and adventurous. You need me to do fucking math? Nah, dude. That's what computers are for. But yeah, it's definitely one of those things where it's like, I feel like that definitely sounds like the game developers may be a little too up their own asses about like, no, you gotta fly. It's a fly game. You must fly. Like, I've played Ace Combat. I love AC7. You can manually take off and land on runways and carriers if you need to for mission starts and stuff in the story mode. But you don't have to. You can just skip them. You can just be like, nah, I don't want to do the sequence. Same for like in mid-air refueling. They're not super titchy, so I've done them before personally, just to say I could, and the game doesn't really sass you about them, but it's like, nah, you can skip this if you don't want to. So Elite Dangerous kind of lets you skip docking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but as I said, like, there's actually a mechanical benefit for me to learning how to dock myself. The only problem is all the docking stations, you have this little, well, most of them. Most big stations have, like, docking, pods and stuff, and it's this little bitty sliver that you have to line up on, and heaven forbid I slightly twitch my mouse to the left and start rolling and hitting everything. At which point you start getting docking fines for being for obstructing.
I'm like, I hate that. That especially is like, don't punish the player for trying to learn, right? Like I get what you're going for, but like don't be there's no need to be an asshole, right? Like it's like you're trying to develop skills. You should not be sassy. Like I think just the fact that like, oh, the auto dock is a module you have to install and it takes up space is enough. That's
well,
like,
they give it to you for free. I think it comes for free on all ships, but you can remove it later.
Yeah, but like then there's not actually. I mean, there's kind of an incentive, but there's also not an incentive to try and learn because they're fucking gonna penalize you for like figuring it out. That's not good game design. If you want players to do something, you need to like be very cautious with your risk reward because that's the whole thing.
Well, now, and the problem I'm having right now in the game is, like I was actually playing this earlier and actually got frustrated enough to stop. Is that I was doing a super cruise to a mining location because I wanted to try mining. I haven't before. I'm like, I need to explore everything there is in this game because the game is a simulation. They're like, all right, we gave you this crappy little ship. Go do whatever the fuck you want. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go deliver packages for a fucking hour so I can get out of this crappy ship.
Correct.
And I got one that I liked. It's I think it's called the Adder. It's like it's like one of the more expensive ships I can get at my current level, I want to say. But it had like so it's bigger, beefier. I could put more shit in it, carry more shit, and it lets me have more weapon hard points because you have hard points, utility points, and then like other stuff. And so like you have to install mining lasers on your weapon point. I'm like, okay, sure, yeah, let's go try out mining. Let me see how lucrative this is. So I pulled up my maps. It's actually really fun. You can access most maps by like your keyboard, and you actually will like look from your screen to it. So like I have to like look to the side, dig through some menus, find like a resource, and highlight, get a marker, and head towards. The thing that I hate about this game the absolute most, is when I highlight a marker where that is my next destination, there is no indication on the HUD of which way I need to turn so I can face that marker. I have to literally spin.
That's no good. That should, especially in 3D space, there should be like big arrows like, there's your target right over there.
Yeah, keep turning this way. No, I have to literally fucking spin to win in space trying to find these markers. And
like,
then it's
like even talking about the what you call it? Kerbal Space Program, like that's a game that I've talked about. I've played. That does that. If you set a nav point, it tells you where on your nav ball to point to get to that. Now, obviously, sometimes you don't want to point straight at something because space physics, but, like, it has the nav ball, and it's like, oh, you're aiming for the moon? The moon's over there, chief.
Yeah, no.
Space is big, and sometimes you can't see shit.
And if they do have a feature like that, I don't know of it. It wasn't fucking explained to me. And that's one of the things. That's like, I was like, all right, we're going to teach you how to fly stuff, and we're going to teach you how to shoot. All right, cool. You know how to do those things? Bye. I'm like, for an immersive space simulation, this seems a little do the training modules as like yeah, I don't know. Like Lucky doesn't want to play with other people because people are dicks.
Well, yeah, no. This sounds like the kind of game where somebody's going to be really good at flying and just grief you.
Yeah, no. So I'm like, no. So I have a private. Map. If anyone has Elite Dangerous and wants to join me, they're more than welcome to.
But Lucky will destroy you if you bother
him. Probably, yeah. I'm trying to learn how to fly here, right? I'm trying not to fly into the sun. I literally almost flew into the sun twice.
Suns are bad.
Because here's the thing: when you do hyperspace jumps, they always have you exit right next to the star. Right next to it. That
kind of makes sense. That's the center of gravity and whatnot. But like, it's a little freaky though.
It's a little freaky because if you keep going straight, you're just going to fly into the stars. You have to immediately veer off and get distance because then your ship starts heating up. You start getting to deal with gravitational forces. I'm like, no! It's a little scary. But, so, this is what I'm talking about. So, I need to find after spinning like a blade, I find my nav point. I make it there. I'm super cruising. Now, when you're super cruising, they actually do something that's pretty fucking nifty. They show two dogs that show your speed and their distance to your target. And they have like these like little reticules that tell you when you should jump out and how fast you should be going. Now, it took me a little while to get that science precise because, as I said, numbers are fucking wonky. The bar only goes up on your speed up to, I can't remember the unit of measurement, but it's 1 of a certain speed. But you can push your ship to go, like, several tens higher than that. And just be like, whoosh. So you can sneak up on your destination real fast and blow past it if you haven't slowed down enough. So there's a little, like, I wouldn't say it's math, but you need to pay attention to your speed and your distance and stuff.
In Super Cruise, speeds are typically measured in multiples of the speed of light, represented as mm/s. 1c equals 300 mms. Is that megameters per second? Let me see if I can find a good... I'm Googling it. Love space. So it starts in kmh, then m, and then c. Okay.
Yeah, like, the dial only shows up to 1c.
Okay, so c is the speed of light. All right, that makes sense.
Yes. And, like, so you can go multiple times the speed of light in the Super Cruise, but if you don't slow down fast enough, so because you can't exit hyperspace, you can't exert hyperspeed, at multiple, at over the speed of light. You have to be under it. Like, you have to be way under it.
That would make sense, because that's a physics thing. You'd probably be, like, traveling back in time or something weird if you didn't slow down properly. Light and the speed of light is very strange. Yes. Very fucky.
So, I always have to keep an eye out on that, but unfortunately, because I have to look at that, sometimes I'm not looking directly at my screen, because if you get too close to a celestial body, it'll just automatically pull you out. And that's what happened to me on my flight to this,
Yeah, the classic, that's how hyperdrives in Star Wars are supposed to work. They're supposed to have safety features so you don't accidentally phase through the mass of a planet. It's like, oh shit, there's a planet there. Stop.
Ah! Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't know what the fucking object that has me fucking stuck is. It just says, like, oh, you're close to my body. Like, I'm in, like, I guess an asteroid field? I guess?
Then probably one of the asteroids?
Like, I don't know. I tried, like, putting some distance between them. I was like, nope, too close, dropping out. And I'm still, like, luckily I'm not too far from it, but I'm still, like, even at my top cruising speed, I'm, like, 20 minutes out from my fucking place. I'm like, do I just want to put on a podcast or something and wait? Because that's something I've actually heard some people do. It's like, when you're just doing that, you just do the fucking space trucker thing. It's like, time to put on music and cruise. Like, If it was like an hour, I think I'd be, like, a little more pissed. But I'm like, it's only 20 minutes. I could, like start catching up on some audio.
Yeah, that's definitely the kind of thing where I'm going to be like, all right, queue up some YouTube videos, some actual play, set the cruise, throttle up. I mean, because that's what you'd have to do in real... If we ever got to real life space trucking, that is what you would have to do sometimes. It's just like, okay, well, guess we just gotta slow the roll.
Lucky might need himself a space trucker hat.
It's just a trucker hat that says space on it.
Hang on 1 second.
Lucky, are you Googling if you can buy a space trucker hat?
Yes.
I expected it.
Let's see here. We have hats with galaxy prints on them. No, I just need the one that says space. Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. I dig it.
Alright, Lucky's found his space trigger hat.
Space.
That's a good one. Gosh, does Ayanami really have that many skins? Sorry to distract, but they just posted, AL Official just posted there's going to be another party dress, and it's going to be Ayanami, and apparently she does have a lot of skins. It's going to be live 2D. I guess that makes sense, because I think a lot of the artists are Japanese, like some of them aren't, but a lot of them are, and Ayanami is the JP rep. And in fact, if you're playing the Japanese version, you actually get to pick her instead of one of the others. Instead of the super secret unlock one.
Well, yeah, we got Z23 as our starter instead of Ayanami. But, so now I'm just like, combat is typical combat, you do space dog fighting. You have to try and keep, on the other guy 6.
Yeah, pretty classic. I've actually done, it's not exactly the same, but I have streamed the whole of AC7's campaign on this channel, so you'll check that out in the stream archive. It's basically the same thing, like, okay, get behind him. If you're close, use guns. If you're far, use missiles.
Yep.
You're
it's
in
actually...
space, so you probably got some weird space guns.
Yeah, I only got mining lasers and a beam laser right now. But as I said, I've only shot down one non-tutorial enemy. Some pirate, like, I think he literally used, like, some ability to pull me from Super Cruise and be like, fight me, nerd. I'm like, I'm about to fucking end you. And I did.
That makes sense. All of that makes sense.
So I don't want to quit Elite Dangerous right now because I was considering, do people want to see me stream Space? I'm like, actually, it's not that entertaining. Unless Lucky is going to stream Elite Dangerous while reading aloud to y'all, I don't know if you'd be into that.
I mean, so for some streams that works, that would definitely have to be like, chat has to be active and want to talk to you about stuff, and like, maybe you're occasionally drop some super chats. But like, those kinds of games can work, but people have to have the right expectation. Like a lot of the times I think with our streams, we are actively participating in the game, we are talking about the game. Occasionally people ask us questions in lulls, but I have this problem fucking playing like Yu-Gi-Oh! Streams where people like ask me about stuff, and I'm like, wait, hold on. Hold your thought, please. I have to brain for like 5 minutes so we don't stay in this one screen for an hour kind of thing. And like, Lucky leans a little bit more towards the yelling and screaming dramatically, but that's just also how Lucky leans. Yeah, no, I feel like you don't go out of your way. Like, you're not exaggerating like I think some streamers and Let's Players do, but like, you definitely are more like, if like, say you're playing Breath of the Wild and a guy jumps out of a bush and stabs you, you'd be like, ah! And I would probably just be like, where'd that guy come from? Where'd he come from? Like, I would be shocked, but you usually do a little like, ah, in there. And I don't know if you do that on purpose, but you do. And that's usually either way, we are in the gameplay and react to gameplay. So if there's not a lot of gameplay action, I don't know, if our audience would follow that as much. Let us know in the comments and stuff. Yay.
Yeah, I might be able to stream it on Discord. That might be entertaining. I don't know.
Do some tests. Then at least people could, in that case, other people could talk, have some back and forth. You could get some bants in.
Bants. But, yeah, so this I've been playing Elite Dangerous. Is there anything? Oh yeah, I guess I should mention this. Lucky is planning on actually maybe doing some more Among Us highlights. But
yeah,
I think
I've been trying to figure out our ground rules.
Yeah, and trying to see if we have interested parties. Like I said I was gonna maybe play something, but no one seemed to bite onto it. It's like, I guess everyone's busy or tired or whatever. It is a Friday, whatever. Whoosh.
Yeah, you mentioned it maybe, but nobody really materialized. I think it's because the Common Club was waiting for us to finish, so some of them could join in. So they seem pretty busy with other stuff. That's okay.
Yeah.
I was also sleepy last night.
Mm-hmm.
That's because I did the carb thing where I ate a shitload, so I was very sleep all evening doing the show too. But yeah, we're definitely looking forward to some more. I've seen some more people do it. I think because last time you talked about you, for the sake of editing and stuff, want to make sure everybody has a mic, which I think is fair because that means that you as the viewpoint camera don't have to do the thing. We're probably not going to go ape shit on multiple angles or anything. And if you need a big reference, AH actually did this recently where they all went quiet and stuff and got everything, but they talked about how in the editor's show, they actually showed their timelines and stuff of how much of a pain in the dick it was for multiple editors to stitch that all together with multiple webcams, POVs, audio, and make it all sync up. So we're not going to do that. Editor Lucky is cool, but he's not that cool. He is but one man who is not paid enough for that shit.
Well, honestly, I was gonna say, if you were to record your viewpoint on OBS and get that to me somehow, I could probably
the main problem would be figuring out where a good angle is. I guess I could boot up my old Mega, but yeah, we'd have to experiment with that. We could probably get some multicam stuff, and we can try that out as an experiment.
Because I've already decided when we do highlights, I'm cutting them at 15 fucking minutes. That's just what I'm gonna do. I'll queue up multiple of them, but 15 fucking minutes. What was the other one at?
15 minute a slice seems like a good one. That also means that you can get a little spicier in your edits, a little flashier, which I think a lot of people like to do, background music, memes, whatever, commentary. It was at this point he knew he fucked up kind of stuff.
I already know a joke I want to do. Anytime I go do a fucking download, I'm just gonna replace one of the words with porn.
Yeah, a funny one. Some other stuff in there, just some sight gags. The other thing I've been thinking about, because I've been watching a lot of different people play Among Us, some of them play it bad, some of them play it good, is I feel like we should probably have a discussion with the people before we start recording a session of highlights about how we want to play. Because I think it can be fun if everybody's on the same page before we start, and just figure out set all the ground rules and stuff, because a couple different variations. I've seen some people still play games where they have a decent amount of survivors, but they set the kill cooldown to 10 seconds.
Oh, jeez.
But they keep the level of tasks kind of only one long task and 3 short tasks and stuff, and actually have an opportunity to do it. But I feel like we'd have to lay out the ground rules, because one thing I've consistently noticed is the thing that always fucks an imposter is the buddy system.
Yep.
If at any point you get, if there's 5 people left, one of the imposter, if the other 2 people gang up, literally can't be done. There's nothing you can do. Even if you separate them, if everybody's in pairs, the moment one person dies, they're going to be like, well, it wasn't the guy in the pair, right? And that's sometimes a fair cop, but we should not necessarily, encourage that. But the other thing I'm thinking about is, on the other hand, if we're doing it just for funsies, if this is just to have fun, I mean, it's just a game, it doesn't matter about winning or losing. I think you can, if you set that expectation, right, that we're just doing this for funs, you can do stuff like, before I've expressed an opinion, okay, let's not call emergency meetings willy-nilly, but I could totally be I don't know, if we're just doing it for fun, I don't give a fuck if you waste your meetings. Whatever. You know, if you're some guy's acting sus, he's following me! You know, kind of the... you want to avoid griefing a little bit, right? But if you're building a continuity of jokes, it can be funny if the same guy gets murdered 3 times in a row, but don't go out of your way, maybe, because that guy's a person too, you know?
Yeah.
Though, I mean, as a ghost, you still get to play. Basically. You just can't talk. So, that's the thing I've been thinking about watching all those other people play, is okay, how would we want to do this? Do we want to be more serious and buckle down and be okay, don't kill this guy at the same time at first every time. Don't just go, oh, well, blah, 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 it's obviously the shiftiest person in the room, even though nobody saw anything yet, you know?
I'm okay with shenanigans as long as we're not griefing.
Yeah, that's what I would say, is if we can probably try a shenanigans mode of just yeah, I don't care if you want to call a meeting or whatever, or you just want to be I'm being stalked, whatever. I'm being followed, you know. And so long as we all understand that we're all here to have fun and it doesn't matter.
That means I'm going to be hitting the button every time I see fucking Robin fucking stalking me.
Yeah, and it will turn out to not be Robin every time until one of you learns. And that just sometimes that be how it be. So it's just a thought process I've been going to, because like I said, I've seen a lot of different people play it, and a lot of different people do different things, and I think that there's different, especially as a viewing experience, there's different ways to handle Among Us. Like if we were a bigger team, just yesterday I think Team 4-Star actually, who by the way are doing a charity stream, which is doing pretty bonkers. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to catch the VOD for that. They're watching all the Dragon Ball abridged movies and raising money for charity, Red Cross, for disaster relief. That's pretty cool. We should figure that out sometime. I just don't know if we got a big enough audience. But I wouldn't mind using our powers for good occasionally. Not that putting money in my wallet isn't good, but anyway. But yeah, no. But they recorded and posted the on YouTube a VOD of them playing Among Us for a couple hours, and on the one hand, some of it was just yeah, they have no idea what the fuck they're doing. But also, like I said, this made me think, because they were totally one of the guys, Kieran, Lord Moonstone, if you know him, he was the imposter 3 times in a row. He called the button on himself 3 times in a row and just said, I'm the imposter, yeet me. He was yeeted 3 times in a row. And then the 4th time happened, and it was it can't possibly be him, right? And I don't even know if it was, but they set up a whole joke payoff, and it was a little weird, but also it worked. And because those guys are all kind of friends who work together, right? It works because they know each other very well. I don't know if we could pull it off with just a community game, because I know there are some people in the community who get a little frustrated of oh, I've had a bad run, or oh, I keep getting killed first. You know, there are some people who I think we talked about this. There are some killers who are just so good at it, they don't even look. They're just they just kill. I have no idea who I've killed first. It was that guy, kind of thing.
Arash is real good at killing.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know if we could have that kind of more relaxed shenanigans you play all the time, but that's why I think we need to set ground rules and expectations. Because I gotta be honest, as much as while I'm quote unquote trying to win as an imposter or whatever as a crewmate, I'm also just trying to have some fun, with people and do some fun stuff. And if I get a little detective work done, that's okay. Because powers of basic deduction are not illegal. It is allowed. I've gotten a call out from a couple of people about using my basic deductional skills to pick up on hey, I remember that you act a certain way when X is true and when Y is true. I wonder if your behavior will be consistent. Though that's the thing, talking about the joke of like I said, Kieran called himself out 3 times in a row and then didn't in the future and actually had some very good runs as the killer.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing. It's interesting to see stuff. And I think we talked about this in a different, it wasn't recorded, but we talked about like setting a count where like kill distance low, like one killer but a lot of people, but set the kill timer down to like 10 and the kill distance to like short, and just be like murder spree round. Can you pull it off?
Yeah.
So we could try different variations, especially if we're cutting the clips. We might try rotating through maps more, especially because they did do an update recently. We can talk about that. I think last time we played, they went to 6-digit codes, I believe.
Yes.
Or 6 character, because they're letters.
Yes.
Which, by the way, makes it like infinitely less likely that some rando will get in your game if they type it wrong.
We had a problem with that.
With 6, it's like just 2 more characters. I don't know the exact numbers because, like I said, I'm bad at math. But cryptographically speaking, 2 more possibilities is a huge deal. So that's a good one. And also, I think they've generally improved server health. Like we just like that, we're getting in. Which if it's that good, that makes it a lot easier to be like, oh, hey, do we want to try a different map for a little bit? Want to try some different rules, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, yeah, definitely before when, it took like 15 minutes to get everyone in. It was like, nope, we're stuck here for eternity now. Yeah,
it's like, like the only time you would do it is if like, oh, there's only 8 of us, we can't have 2 imposters, we're gonna die.
We're gonna die.
The 2 imposter game, by the way, very different from the 1 imposter game. I've seen a lot of content creators still only doing the like 1 imposter deal. 2 is something, because that means you can pull off, that breaks the buddy system. You can pull off the double kill. And just does a lot of really interesting things. And we usually have a lot of people willing, so we've had to kind of tangle with that a lot in the community about finding the balance.
Oh, that reminds me of definitely a house rule. No making plans in discussion time.
Oh, yeah, that is definitely a house rule of, like, that's no pre-planning, because that's talking about, like, if you happen to buddy up with somebody or you're following somebody because your tasks are done, like, we can't stop you, but the, like, pre-planning of, like, I'm going to blah, blah, blah. Another thing I like is the no visual tasks modifier. I don't think we talked about that with you, but we had that on last time we played. Where
I heard about that.
Okay, yeah. So that normally, when you do certain tasks, those have an animation in the game that everybody sees. Like if you do the med scan, you shoot guns. There's a trash chute on the space map, and there's some other stuff. If you see somebody do that, you know they're clean, because traders can't actually do their tasks, even though they're assigned fake ones. They can't actually try them. But if you turn that off, you can only see some guy stand by that for like 5 minutes and see if they do it. I think that's a good rule to institute, especially with a lot of people, because that gives the imposter some wiggle room to like pretend. Like it makes it harder for you to do the whole buddy system verification of like, okay, I saw you scan and you saw me scan, so we know we're clean, right? Like
together.
That's the thing, right? Especially because they have in-game detection tools like cameras, like the doors and whatever. Like, they give you a lot of tools to figure out who the imposter is. So I feel like limiting the amount of information players can know for sure when they just talk to each other makes the game better. Like, if there's a little bit of suspicion, it makes it easier for the imposter.
Tell you right now, I have caught some people on camera.
Yeah, you caught me on camera the other game. I'm like, how? How did you do that? How did you see that spot from that camera? And I was like, more importantly, where you must have booked it fast. Because like I said, I literally vented up over there and didn't see you anywhere, and then you push the button. I'm like, what? I think I had some pretty good runs as imposter also last time, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, you gotta... I like it better when there's that air of mystery, because no matter what, it's all over for the imposter if you get caught going in an event, or you get caught with a corpse, like, just around the corner. Like, there are so many ways for you to just obviously get got. Oh, that doesn't remind me. Another thing we'd have to do is if once we settled on our number of people and to record a highlight, I would want to make sure they all know the controls. That seems to be a major problem I've seen with a lot of other content creators, is like literally people don't know how to report bodies or what a body looks like or anything. Like, I think most of the people who play with us know that level, like, oh, that's a corpse, but like, yeah, if you're playing with keyboard and mouse, you can slam R to report, stuff like that. It's E to use, R to report. Is it X to kill? Or is it Q? There's a keyboard shortcut for it.
I think it's Q.
Q to kill. Yeah, that probably makes sense. But yeah, so like, that's a whole thing that I think is good, that like everybody knows the shortcuts so they can play more efficiently and actually write the right call. Among Us is a great game. I'm glad it's taken everybody by storm, but it's definitely the kind of game where it's, because of the, social aspect, right? There's a certain amount of wiggle room with it that you can play different ways. Like, I would not necessarily play with strangers, especially because of the discussion phase, but if I did that, I would do it very, very differently, right? But yeah, so we're planning more Among Us highlights. I don't know if we'll do that Probably not tonight, especially if Lucky wants me to also record mine. I don't know if I can run OBS and export video of this because we've been going.
Nah, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it.
I'm probably we've been going for about 2 hours. That's okay. I got other stuff to do.
I'm probably gonna. I might Discord stream some Elite Dangerous and people can see me spice.
That seems fair. I got to get back to Ghost of Sushi, because I'm wrapping up Act 2 and I do want to make sure to get that out of the way before October because talking about Elite Dangerous and flight sims. That is one of my pre-orders I've locked in is Star Wars Squadrons, and I've said this before, I'm going to stream that story mode, baby. Even though it will make us no money, please do remember this and think of me when you're watching it. But oh boy, Big Daddy Disney is going to be like, your monetization, give it to me.
This is all.
Because I think is it? No, it wasn't Breath of the Wild. It was the Lap 2 that had anime music in it, but they split it with us. They're sharing monetization, so we make a little bit less, but we don't get full-blown blocked, right?
Yeah.
And actually, I don't think Nintendo took any chunks out of Breath of the Wild. We didn't get anything on that, which is good on them. Total 180 there.
Yeah, no, they reversed. They're like, okay, fine, you guys can stream. We don't care.
Yes, if you're off, if your video outlet authorized you to be monetization enabled, which means you've been, you've been somewhat vetted. YouTube says we're okay. We're advertiser friendly. It's allowed. They're like, fine, fuck it, you can do it. We don't care. We're still like a lot of outlets are still like, okay, but don't just stream us for like music or cutscenes though. That's not cool. Which I agree. I agree can be, especially for some story heavy stuff. I can see like, yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair that you'd want to not like just be like people are just basically using you as a low key way to pirate. Talk about Star Wars Squadrons, pirate music or cutscenes. But yeah, no. So that, the Squadrons thing is definitely like I'm gonna try and stream that, show that off, do the story mode because I want to do that, and it'll be new and exciting, and I'm super excited for the game. But that is 100% a thing where Disney's going to be like, hold on, are you playing 5 seconds of a music from Star Wars? It's mine now. Mine. Give. And I'll be like, I don't believe you should be able to exert this level of control, but okay, you're Disney, you'll tell me to fuck off, so I'll suck it up. But I won't forget this, Disney. I won't forget it. Those are my plans in the new month. So yeah, I don't have anything new to add about Ghost of Tsushima. I've just been doing my friend story quest friends. I think I'm at like 8 out of 9 on Masako. I'm like 7 out of 8 on Norio, that kind of thing. I think I did all 4 steps of Yuna. I got a trophy for it, so I think So I don't really have anything to too much talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I know you said you might want to talk about some L5R stuff. We've been going for a couple hours, so we should maybe take an intermission and then we can transition to that. Segways, baby!
Woo!
Okay, and we're back.
And we're back. All right, so being done with video game talk, we'll probably move into RB talk. Tabletop talk, I should say. So, right now, as I said, Star Wars is going good. Last week we did our first in the bottle episode. I say first because I don't know how many it's going to take. Actually, what was the line here? It was actually something very telling. I want to see it now. Where was it? You talking about someone was mentioning like where was it? Here it is. Someone in our secret tabletop cabal was all like, Omega, this should only take 1 session. Also Omega, surprised when people who like to talk roleplay take more than 1 session. But then I was all like kicked down the door. Nah, it's more like Omega. Okay, if they're on task and focused, this should only take 1 session. Also Omega. Haha, them on task and focused.
Yeah. No.
It's very true. I like to talk. I like to faff. And
so that one's not. This one's not out yet, but I've got the audio set up, and I'll probably get to posting it public and stuff. Or get started on that tomorrow, as I usually do. In my doobly do.
Doobly do.
Like, and it's not that long. Like after editing it down, it's only about 2.5 hours. I think raw time we're cruising just up on 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna say that the first in final edit form it's probably 30 to 45 minutes, but definitely about the first hour of playtime was just outroing the old character, because we talked about this last week. You know, Martha switched characters from Cavis to Wevu. But the first bit of that was just introing the new character, and it just like on the one hand, there was definitely some funny bits in there, and it was a lot of character building and like discussing all the points, but also there was a little bit of just like it just won't stop. Like you know, you guys did good improv. You kept going, you kept yes-anding, you kept working forward, but it took us a while to transition to stuff, and then I feel like after that point, we lost a little bit of momentum. Like, there was a little bit where I was like, okay, all right, you guys, do you want to kick this off? Okay, no, fine, fuck it. I'll start my first vignette.
All right, so, and this is one of the things I wanted to bring up is, as I don't know if I'm necessarily just going to call myself. This might be hubris on my part, but I try to, in game, I'm kind of a conversation maker, a mood maker. I will usually set the tone of whatever we're doing and usually ride through it and try to pull other people into my pace.
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed that if I don't do that with our group specifically, it kind of peters out. And
yes. And I would agree with that assessment. I don't think that's necessarily hubris. We have talked about this before. You're definitely the face character and the most talky character. Yes. Even if Marth's new character does feel a little bit more grounded. And at least Marth was definitely emoting as her more, like saying what she was doing, expressing it. She wasn't a talker, though. Weber's not a talker.
No.
She's a stoic type.
Yes. And like, here's the thing I was thinking, because I've been working on my L5 character a lot, and a lot of L5R is, like, you know, devil's in the details, you know, little things, your relationship with other people, your relationship with other clans, your backstory, what your future plans are, all this stuff. And I'm like, all of this would just make really good roleplay stuff, things to talk about, stories to share. But I'm like, I look at people, I'm like, how do I get them to talk about it? How do I get them to want to talk about me? Like, I had this misstep, couple of ventures ago where I'd been trying to get people to bite onto the hook of, you know, Aramaw's tragic past, you know, maybe, you know, start unfolding some of, those points. But I just realized by the characters of being at heart, they're not that interested. And I was like, how do I do this? Because here's the thing. It's no fun having a cool backstory if it never comes up. I'm telling you that right now.
No, there's no point. That's one of those, that's like the classic Chekhov's gun problem. Like, you introduced a thing and then, nothing came up. Well, that was a wasted effort, you know? Yeah.
But here's the thing. I'm trying, like, the thing is, I don't want to just club people over the head with it, because, like, as I said, I'm already a conversation leader. I think I take a fair more amount of the spotlight than I really should, but with the circumstances being I feel like sometimes I have no choice, because at the moment, like I said, nothing against our players. Like I said, they're good at what they do, and their characters also kind of reflect on this as well. But if I'm not talking, everyone's just kind of looking around being like, what do we do next? Do I shoot it? How about a candy bar?
Right, and they have some bants and stuff, but it's definitely like you said, we left that moment of like, okay, I go back to the bar to do stuff. All right, I'm like, all right, you guys gonna, like, there was definitely a like pause for a prompt, but my prompt was, are you guys gonna do anything? You got some stuff you want to do? You got some plans? Okay, no, I guess I'll start something. All right,
go.
And then I fired up the vignette, and then that worked out as a prompto because that gave us a situation, and obviously, sometimes there's not like with it, that's part of the improv aspect. Is like sometimes you need the setup, right? So I introduced a situation. Look forward to it. Jawa's Traveling Circus.
I think that was the first time I got to use coercion.
But that was like an outside impetus, and then there was definitely some running around doing the like, it turned into a shopping trip, which takes up some time, but it was very dynamic, and I interspersed stuff in there.
Oh yeah, no, I enjoyed it. It's like, I enjoyed that we were basically going from stall to stall, looking at things, dealing with a pickpocket. We mused over Astromech, seeing if we can get one just delivered. We made lots of Jawa jokes.
Yes.
Bought drugs, legal drugs.
Yeah, but that had a lot of back and forth and dynamicism, because you were looking for different things, and that let us like explore different groups and see different things. You know, and we did some breaks in there, like, okay, do you want something? Do you want something? Et cetera, et cetera. You know, and like I said, you mentioned the pickpocket. There was a through line where I started with one character and just we ran down the line and you know, until it got resolved.
Also, Lofty, yes, there is a story beat, but it's not gonna be like, all right, now we're gonna go do Aramaw's personal quest.
No, it's going to be that there are going to be, fun fact, one of the characters has a backstory. I mean, that's not entirely true now. Marth's character has a lot of backstory. I just don't know how easy it will be to bring up without being super contrived. But
yes.
We will at least can play into elements of it. But no, it's more going to be like, oh yeah, no, because I know Arama has a backstory. Guess what? Plot things will play into her backstory because she's the character who has backstory.
Yeah, no, Arma is not just going to... You're not just going to get a mission marker that says Arma's personal quest is unlocked. Go talk to Arma.
Yeah, it's going to be more like you will meet characters and circumstances and Arma will be like, and maybe she'll talk about stuff, and maybe other characters will talk about stuff, but it's just like, you know.
And that's the thing that's like I've been thinking about. It's like, how do I role play better? And like I haven't necessarily got a definite answer out of this because
well, and also I would say I don't even know if it's necessarily a better question. I think I mean, like we said, there's some gaps to settling into every character, but I feel like for a while now, because we're fucking 40 sessions in, you know, we've been doing this for quite some time. But after a little bit of hiccups and we had to do some reorganizing, which often happens with characters, you know, finding the perfect way to qualify or to spell out what you want, right? But I feel like since only a few sessions in after our initial growing pains, Arma has been a very consistent and well-played character. I know what she's about. You know, I think the other characters know what she's about. She, you know, we can plumb out her thoughts and feelings, and I can generally I can figure out how you as Arma would react to certain situations. And sometimes I don't know, and that's because that's a wholly new situation where I'm like, I'm just gonna throw this out there and see what happens. That was like the pickpocket thing. I'm like, I don't actually know what they'll do. And I was actually kind of surprised you guys weren't a little more proactive. I got through 3 before the guy finally fucked up and actually got caught before you guys actively did something.
Like I said, like it was kind of racist, but Jawas be fucking Jawas.
Well, yeah, they have their own attitudes about like repurposing things as a scavenger type people, but it was definitely like you guys didn't want to go crazy and like, you know, kick down the stalls, and I didn't think you would about where's that Jawa who stole from me, but it was like you went even more nuanced and just be like, it's not a big deal yet, and then but when you actually caught him, it was easy to solve, right?
Yes. But like, so no, like, but again, I want people to interact with I want our characters to interact with each other and interact in other ways. Like, I don't want to be yelling at Boots because he's saying something fucking dumb. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to know.
So Axe brought up something. Axe, one of our players, talking about not asking about Arma stuff. That's different though. Like the way Lucky pitched that initially was, out of character, I'm not just gonna fucking tell you my backstory, but in character, and I don't know if people got the wrong impression months ago. It's like, no, I need you talking about good role playing. Lucky was like, I want you guys to approach me character to character, and I was agreeing like, no, character to character, explore stuff. Which I guess is the root of this conversation, is that not that player to player, but that character to character facing stuff.
Yeah, Axe, once in a while I tell you like, no, don't tell me as Axe, tell me as Camo.
Right. And sometimes we have to have that stop moment and be like, no, okay, so how's Camo phrasing this? I think you do a decent effort. Like you at least now make sure to do an effort to try and put certain statements in words as Camo's voice, or definitely like relate his actions. This is what I was talking about with like Marth emoting as his new character better. Like, I have a pretty strong grasp on Wevu's body language and stuff, right? Even though we've only been chilling in downtime scenes, basically.
Yes.
Because Marth has, and I think he's found her voice a lot better as just like, she's kind of stands there with her arms crossed and like, okay, good. I know she's in the scene. I know what she's doing. Mm-hmm. You know? Whereas sometimes other characters are like, I don't know what I'm doing in this scene. I guess I'm just here. Which is, that can be a legit thing to do because, like we said about splitting the party and splitting attention. Just kind of seeing stuff. So it's interesting to do our kind of backs and forth.
Yeah. So, but again, like I want more role play with our characters, and again, I keep trying to drop like the subtle hints. Some which come up more like, if you guys haven't noticed, Arma has a very bad thing about fire. If she sees fire of a great size, she kind of fucking loses it. This has happened multiple occasions. And again, because playing off back and forth, it may also be why there's so much fire. Because I know that this is basically like a dramatic trigger for the character. It's like, well, hey, guess what? If you actually, since you mentioned, L5R before, it's like, that's literally one of the anxieties is phobia, I believe. Mm-hmm. And there's also a couple that are in that vein, not even if they're not called straight up phobia, but like, no, it for a character building issue, well, I don't know if because they don't have a backstory, they never desire to ask those questions. I would think because you don't have a backstory, you want to ask more about those questions to begin with. Like Like,
well, yeah, I'd say that's like a real life thing. Like, if I knew a real person who had pyrophobia as a human being to another human being, I'm not going to go like, ooh, look, fire. Doesn't this make you freak out? That's called being an asshole. As a writer, developing this story with players, you know, this is kind of the game mastering as directing role, which, you know, people talk about, right? Like, I'm doing the creative input. I'm like, yeah, we're doing a scene. Come on, give me the action. I'm like, no, yeah, give me the emotional stuff. Give me that pathos, right? Like, fire. How do you react? And you're like, oh shit, I'm gonna freak out. Perfect, excellent. You know, like kind of coaching people. And that is sometimes like when you're thinking about like, okay, this is actually, I don't know. Lucky's been reading more. He may have seen some of these sidebars, but L5R, for instance, is currently written with a very much of tone of like, hey, don't be an asshole in real life.
Oh yeah.
There's quite a few of those sidebars because guess what? They do name check a lot of real life shit, being kind of an Eastern fantasy kind of setting.
Sidebars are important, I have learned.
Yes, sidebars and margin notes are very important. I will give you a hint, especially for anybody out there. If you see a margin note or a outside the margin sidebar that's red, that's a rule. And no, I wish they weren't in margins in tiny print, but they're bright red. Those are important. The blue ones are just fluff. But still, it's a little hurtful. But like, as I was saying, there's definitely a point where you have to like, role-playing is not real life, and as a, you know, this is what we're talking about, that player-to-player instance. As a player to another player, you guys should know that asking Lucky's character about her fake trauma that's not real is not necessarily a bad pass. Even though in character you want to be careful about how you explore that. You don't want to just be like, hey, Lost listening right now, I want to tell you, it's not a good role-playing move to start with Boots going like, hey, General, you seem to have a thing about fire. What's the deal with that? Don't do that. She's just gonna punch you. That's a case where your character role-playing does actually play into it. But, excuse me, sorry. But like definitely that's as a like player thing, you can understand that it's okay to ask people about their stuff. And sometimes they don't want to tell you, and sometimes they do. And you gotta kind of find that sweet spot of where you can kind of, you know, you can do the role-playing drama, you know, improv theater thing without being a dickbag in real life, possibly being a dickbag in character, but also keeping everything kind of consistent.
So I've been thinking a lot about that, of how I can engage the Clone Boys in maybe their own ideals and perspectives and opinions. Because, yes, even though you are all that grown on a water planet and raised by things.
Weird long neck aliens.
Yeah.
See, talking about role-playing stuff, it's the subtle stuff. Like, I kind of wish I'd gotten better at it, but we never used their numbers. But no, that was a very deliberate choice on my part, that the Kaminoan who came by refers to the clones by their number. He's not an asshole about it, but he still does it. Which is a very stark contrast, I think, to how the clones and how the Jedi so far have referred to each other.
Yeah, and, like Arama, her thing, she never actually calls clones clones. She always calls them the boys. It's like maybe she doesn't want to think that they're all, you know, that grown, bred for battle and war and nothing else. But again, it's like, it's one of those things of like, how do I emote Arama better without being like, hey, check out my fucking my cliff notes on my character. Hang on, I gotta sneeze.
Yep.
Excuse me.
Gesundheit. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. You basically, you don't want to just be like, hey, read my backstory. You want to actually be like, hey, can we discuss this in character? Because that's an actual thing.
Because like Arama has thoughts about the Jedi Order. She has thoughts about this war as whole. She has thoughts about clones. She has thoughts about Hololive. And most of the time, she just thinks about them while polishing glasses at a bar. Just like, And it's like, I want to talk about these things, but at the same time, I don't want to force other people to talk about things. And I also want other people to talk about their things. Like, I've been curious for a while what Boots and Camels feels about, like, being a clone. Like you are you, but that person over there, that's another you. That's a different you. Does that make you feel any less than you are? Like, you know, but again, it's one of those things of like, it's like, I don't know if this is the right time to bring it up.
Yeah.
And so that's why I've been trying to like find moments to talk about it, and also why I've been trying to find moments to drop subtle hints. Like back during the Necropolis, There's a moment where I literally called Boots to, take care of an injury, and Arma showed her very burned back. But Boots, being Boots, Lottie can't see it, but I looked at the Discord very directly. That look was at you. Was just like, "All good, General, bye." I'm like, okay.
Neat, she has scars. Cool, I'm going now.
I was like, wouldn't you know? I don't know. Normally, this might be making an assumption, but if you see someone with a full back burn scar, you would be like, there's a story. I'd be a little bit curious about that. That gets put away in the folder of things to discuss later.
Yeah.
Also, Armand's usually this very, usually collected, if not free sometimes, individual who literally starts screaming in an articulate rage and bum rushing a giant robot to punch it because it's shot by napalm at her.
Yeah.
That's not usually what people do. Usually not. But again, people are just like, "Oh, that Arma, there she goes again." Just like,
Well, and to be fair, not every circumstance is really good to bring it up. You guys were in the middle of it. You guys were literally in the middle of a boss fight and then resolved it, so it's not like we could just...
I know.
But still, there are... You show things in your role-playing very well, and, we've seen that with other characters, too, where we show and talk about their things. But, there is sometimes a not just like, it's the old classic, what are you waiting for?
Mm-hmm.
What do you need the hook any stronger? And I get that, and not everybody is
yeah, and that's the thing, everyone plays tabletop for different reasons. Me, I enjoy both. I enjoy both rolling and rolling. Role playing and role playing. I get equal enjoyment out of both. I like making characters.
And honestly, I usually play those games that way too. I want to have character conversations and kind of talk about stuff, even if, stuff's not that deep. But I constantly think about stuff. We actually played D&D this week. It was great. We did get derailed by way too long by all of us deciding to gamble together and having really interesting rolls. We played a version of it's a card game that we simulated with a dice where you roll a D8, a D6, and a D4. And it literally came down to the last D4, and two of the players rolled a 3, and one player rolled a 4, and he won because all three of us had rolled 8 and 6. We proved it with pictures. It was a little weird, but that sucked up a decent amount of time. But we were just hanging out, getting a feel, talking about stuff. We didn't even have a fight. We just did our stuff, did our business, talked about things, worked out. But also, we do also talk constantly about, I'm going to pick this spell up, or in character, I'm like, gosh, I really need a hand crossbow or something. I need to be able to hit people longer than 20 feet away.
Mm-hmm.
So I both as a player and as a GM, I like engineering mechanical challenges. I don't know the full theories or whatever, but there are people I talked about this before. You talk about the game masters having different roles or hats. On one hand, the game master functions as a writer. You write the story that the characters are gonna, you come up with the characters, you develop the scenes, you kind of set the stage for people to come in. In some cases, the game master is kind of like the director, the players are your actors. You're pitching them a scene and giving them responses to bounce off of, and okay, go do the scene. But mechanically, also I don't even know if we really have a role for this, but I guess it's kind of like being a game designer in the sense of video games, right? The game master looks at the mechanics and sets the challenges and the puzzles, the tactics, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's why I said 3 people acts. That's kind of what you call it, the thing I'm talking about with the mechanical bit. I like setting those challenges as being okay, what will happen if I give them this role? And sometimes I'm oh, well, we've been rolling this one a lot. Let me give them this kind of challenge. Even if it's just a different skill, and then we're okay, let's look at the results. And Star Wars is pretty good at that with the way the different binary systems are. Sometimes you get fucking nothing, and we're yeah, I guess nothing happens. But usually that's an oddity where you're huh, weird. I guess that's just how it goes.
All dice have canceled out is always a wild time.
That's always okay, so it doesn't go super bad or super good. It just kind of doesn't. And since that's a rarity, you can at least work around that. That is a problem sometimes binary systems of success and failure have, where it's just oh, yeah, guess you didn't do it. Actually, talked about L5R. It talks about this when it talks about doing a check. It literally has notes of your game master should not call for a check. And actually, this is a thing that they bring up. A lot of people have complaints about the strife system because you especially when you're lower experience levels, you will roll dice, you will pick up strife, the equivalent of strain, the kind of social mental damage, or at least exhaustion, which kind of leads you to your compromised state. I guess in the beta, when you exceeded your strife, you had to unmask, you had to have an emotional moment, which really made a lot of people weird. The way it is in the core book, to clear up that clarification, you never have to unmask. At the end of a scene, if you're over half your composure, your mental, emotional HP, you go back to half. You reset. Okay? Like, you never have to be a crybaby. But if you unmask, if you let your emotions show in a dramatic moment, you can immediately remove all your strife. You just might get a little bit of blowback from some people because you're not supposed to be, like, emotional in public.
Yeah,
though the game also talks about using your unmasking tactically, basically. Because that's also totally an on-genre thing where, like, you break down crying in tears and everybody's like, wow, you should not be crying big blubbery man tears in this moment, but also it's very emotionally moving. Holy shit, my strife. No. But because that's integrated into the dice, yes, it uses a proprietary dice system. They're super cool. I love them. But I understand why some people don't. That's one of those complaints where I'm like, okay, I don't agree with not liking the dice, but if you don't like the dice, that is a point you can say against them. But because strife symbols are integrated into the dice, the game is like, okay, if you're gonna roll, the game master should make sure that there is a chance for failure, and that your success and failure state looks different. So if you fail, something will happen. Not necessarily like an overtly negative thing, but like, or if you succeed, something will happen. If you fail, something will do more than just not happen, like just not exist. So it has to actually matter, because rolling's kind of a big deal. And I feel like that should be integrated more of just like, yeah, rolling needs to actually matter. But I like designing the mechanical aspect of the puzzling too. And obviously some people are more tactical. Like sometimes we've definitely had players who are much more into the I just want to shut my brain off and roll dice kind of thing. And that can be fun too, but that requires everybody to be on the same page. And sometimes you got to drag those people kicking and screaming into having a fucking character.
Yeah. See, honestly, this was one of my problems I had with me playing early D&D. A lot of times in D&D, your backstory literally does not matter.
Honestly, yeah, 5e's really good at that because the background is literally part of your charge in. And yes, it gives you mechanical stuff, but also it shapes your fucking character, which is a great step.
Yeah, no, like back when I was playing like 3 and 3.5, it's like, no, I am this level 1 character and I was just born into existence right now.
Yes, that there are many classic memes about like the murder hobos, like, but also even just the I'm an orphan. I have no family. They're all dead. And I have no hometown. It's burned down. And it's like, you may think that sounds like a shitty YA fantasy novel or a basic bitch anime plot. Yes, because in those stories that serves a purpose. That serves to thrust the characters out into a fantastical world and like remove their touchstones and stuff and have them grow and build new bonds and stuff. For D&D, most of the time you don't do that in D&D. You just move on to killing the next thing, right? Like you don't actually, even in those stories, that's a storytelling tool. In the jokes we make about the stereotypes, that's not a storytelling tool. That's an excuse that you don't have to talk about what your parents are like.
Yeah.
Guess what? You talk about L5R. That's literally one of the 20 questions.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Who are your parents? What are they like? Are they alive? Are they dead? What do they think of you? How do they feel about you?
But funnily enough, you still get a mechanical benefit out of it. You get to pick one skill and you get to explain whether or not your parents approve or disapprove of this activity.
Yeah. Like, I do love that about the way this version of the 20 questions is like, almost everything has some kind of mechanical, if not benefit, at least application. Like, when you talk about how you respond to stress, you're supposed to use that to build into what's your preferred way of unmasking, and they've got some examples in the book. But it also serves as like a role-playing, like, but also, seriously, what do you do when you're stressed? Like, what's your stress response? Which I've always had fun building like pre-gens and other characters thinking about it, like, yeah, like, okay, do you pace? Do you clench your fists? Are you talky? Are you less talky when you're stressed kind of thing, right? And then tie that into the unmasking kind of thing.
By the way, Subas says, is nervous laughter. Constantly chuckling. Or laughing for no reason at all.
Polite laughter.
And maybe when it's really stressful, it's kind of a wild laughter. Yeah, by the way, Subas is the childhood name of the character I'm making because, like, honestly, like doing the 20 questions, again, really got me thinking about role-playing and whatnot.
Well, and it sounds like you're super sold on the Topaz Championship, the kind of coming of age aspect of the starter, which I like because I want to do it for reasons.
Yeah. No, like I said, like I've already set up not my Giri, my Ningyo, but I'm leaving my Giri because I haven't actually assigned my lord. But I'm pretty sure I can pretty much figure out most everything else on my own.
Yeah, and I can even say the Giri thing will be interesting. I could have done it as because there's some alternate campaign styles. There's one that's like Fate of the Realm, which is supposed to be more high stakes and powered, where instead of actually, they change up Giri and Ninja or Giri a lot for different stuff, because obviously a duty requires you to have a lord. So if you're playing a Ronin game, instead you have a past. Like, what's the thing that happened to you in the past that you want to get away from or you have to, like, resolve? Or if you're playing, like I said, a Fate of the Realm kind of game, it's a quest. What do you have to solve? And I could switch it to quest, but I don't think... That's also just the plot. Like, the plot is just, like, your boss tells you to go do stuff, or you have problems that come up you want to solve for reasons. That I will discuss in depth later. I have a pretty elegant solution to tie everything together. I just, like I said, I don't know how much I want to pre-discuss with people. I don't even know who's in it.
Yeah. Like I said, I've been trying to talk about L5R in the chat, but no one else seems really to buy it. Like, you've only been one who's been talking back and forth, and I think Marth a little bit, because he made a character.
Yeah, there's a little bit of back and forth, but I don't... And obviously, I'm also not like, people get excited, make a character now, because obviously it's not happening right now either, but... There is definitely not necessarily a lot of super engagement from people sometimes.
Because I said, I'm trying to learn the system before we actually do want to do it, and not bog down those initial sets and be like, what do I do again?
How do I katana?
Yeah.
How do I shot katana?
Like, how do I make character? Because I said there's going to be a lot of people. It's like, you might want a little bit of help, Omega. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think you want to have to hold everyone's hand.
Yeah, I don't want to end up with like 6 or 7 baby fresh players who are like, how do I roll dice? Which one of these symbols is success? It's the swirly thing. The swirly thing is success. And the little cherry blossoms are strife. Yes, I know they look like fires, but they're cherry blossoms. It says so in the book.
So yeah, I'm trying to go through it. I'm looking through things, learning things, having a fun time. Like, I literally wrote a document where I write the question and the answer to it.
Mm-hmm. That's a good way to look at it. And I've been making sure to pre-prep some of my my helpful guides and things to like point people in the right direction. Like just the other day, you asked me like, "Hey, you got a copy of Path of Waves? I want to check out one of these anxieties." Like, yeah, I do.
Because you have a cheat sheet that gives the list of them. I was like, it doesn't actually say what it's.
Yeah, because I didn't want to copy out because. They actually have a decent block of text about the narrative aspects of all of these advantages and disadvantages. And I don't want to literally copy everything in this PDF, so I'll just tell you where to find it, and you can Control F pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so but that's a good aspect to like bridge everybody together. I think with Giri, because like I said, I don't want to necessarily go all out and do the quest because that's kind of the format anyway. And like obviously you could be like, well then why don't you do that? But I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to necessarily have the players like assigning themselves these quests, right? That's just the plot hook is... Like I said, I'm thinking it will be almost... Not, like, fully episodic, like, literally every session is a new episode, but episodic in, like, an anime sense. Like, okay, you'll spend, like, a couple of episodes doing this, or you'll spend, like, 3 or 4 episodes doing that. Yeah, it's kind of honestly like how we do Star Wars. Yeah. Where, like, you guys pick a plot and you, like, work on it, but instead of, like, Star Wars where I'm just making up shit every couple of weeks, this is, like, actually a full-blown pre-written document. Which may or may not bite Omega in the ass, but who knows?
We'll see!
But yeah, so the Giri will probably be a question of either like, because it will have to interpret it. It'll be like, okay, what have other people told you to do to being assigned to this lord? Like, you're accepting kind of a prestigious position. What if what is your family or your former superior said you should be doing for this guy? Or what do you think you're doing for your new lord? Like, oh, well, I'm a Bushi, so clearly I'm here to defend my lord's property. And then that kind of will like set your expectations. And maybe that's not 100% what your lord wants you to do, but also maybe he doesn't care about the details. He's got stuff to do. He's a big brain. Mm-hmm. I'm actually going to be very... have I said the title before?
I don't know.
I can say it. I've had it for forever. The title of the campaign is The Disciples of Isawa Ayumu. So, guess what? That means that Asawa Ayumu will be important. That's one of the Phoenix families, by the way, the Asawa. Very known for big brain magic stuff. Because I am going to do a touch of the supernatural. But I'm hopefully going to have a lot of fun portraying Isawa Ayumu as your mission control. I have taken a lot of inspiration from some... Well, just in general, I've taken a lot of inspiration from both classical Japanese literature and folk stories, but also other stuff. No, I don't think anybody's going to play an Isawa anyway. But by the way, Ayumu, great name, means dream walk. I don't know if I did link the name list. That's right. That's in the major cheat sheet. I did come up with a list of some common Japanese names that sound cool and have cool meanings, because actually picking what your name means is kind of a big deal.
Yes. What is that, like question 18 or 19?
Like 18 or 19, yeah, because it's up with ancestry, because it's talking about your parents, what ancestor you take after, and when you become an adult in Rokugan, and it's the same in historical Japan too, and a lot of other cultures, but specifically in Rokugan, you take a new name when you become an adult. So Lucky has said that he's still got his childhood name, and you'll figure out what your adult name is later, or you already have it figured out. Who knows? But generally you take that to. Usually you pick it to honor an ancestor, but sometimes you might not, and so there's definitely a quality of like, okay, the meaning of this name and how you write it is important. Also, that lets you do Japanese puns, which is very on theme.
Japanese word puns are wild.
Like, if you can find a name that means multiple things, that's great. But also, you could just be like, so, actually, I think I did this as a pre-gen. Let me see if I can find the names I used so I can sound less dumb.
I think my favorite one is Shinobi or Shinobu, which is literally written as Heart Under Blade.
Yeah, there's a couple of fun ones you can work with. And some of these, like in my name list, it's not like I haven't gotten the full. This is just one of them, or common interpretations. But I think I believe it was a Y name. Let me scroll down. I think it was. Yeah, so like I believe the just U Y with the long U sound. Can mean courage, but it can also mean like superiority, or kind of a goodness thing. So like maybe you had an ancestor named like Yu-Ka, a feminine name, which is the character for that superiority plus blossom. A lot of floral analogies. You might as a name take the name Yu-Ha, which is just literally flowers, excellence or superiority plus flowers, the characters. And be like, okay, they mean similar things, but they're slightly different. And then sometimes you can just go apeshit and just be like, nah, I'm literally going to take the name. You can do something completely different. And like I said, I tried to get a few ones. I skipped some of the more peasant-y sounding names, because I don't know if being a cool samurai who gets to pick your own name, you would name yourself something like Village Dude. I am Village Man. I'm like, that doesn't sound super cool. But what if you were Castle Man? Man Castle. That's a name. That's a fucking samurai-ass name. Though I did make sure to throw in a couple of fun anime character name versions, if you want to be cool. For instance, if you honestly, because they're fake, taking inspirations from your favorite VTubers is not crazy, right? Because those guys have, obviously, they are not real people names; they are constructed names. Yes, they may be literally names, but you get to pick them, so you can come up with cool wordplay. Like, what does I believe Fubuki literally means blizzard?
Yes.
Yeah. So, like, yeah, that's cool. Winter is also a great theme. And you can kind of, like, play off all those different aspects. And they even say in the sidebar about naming, like, sometimes just pick a name and pick a word or phrase and, like, translate it into the language and try and make it work. Like, you don't have to... It might not be a real name, but you can make it work. That said, there's a lot of variance in names. Like, just in general, naming after flowers, which, by the way, means you can look up what the meaning of those flowers are in the language of flowers, because ikebana is a thing. Like, I think, is it the flower indigo is the flower of honesty, and so there's actually you can actually find like the words that mean like indigo flower, and you can be like, yeah, my name means honesty, which could totally be ironic. Who knows? That's the beauty of picking your own name, right? Like, you might be a tiny scrub lord who is like, I will name myself Big Sun, which is definitely one of the combos in here. But also, you could be like, I'm huge, but I want to be small and cute. I will call myself Chibiko, which is small plus the character for child.
Ah, man.
But yeah, so Lucky's doing a lot of backstory stuff. That's cool.
Yeah.
Thinking about stuff.
We've been talking about stuff. We're talking about one of Lucky's player flaws is that he is constantly horny on main and or wants to collect cute things. So we decided to have fun with that, and I literally took what was it?
Yeah, because you were thinking about backstory stuff about like how you relate to people and stuff, and because you were rolling Ancestry, which had a couple of different variables. Because hey, guess what? It's an FFG game. There's multiple tables for multiple things and different source books, file the source books. Yay! I did already. But since you're making a Scorpion, I was like, oh, well. So in Courts of Stone, there's a second heritage table, which is good for Crane Clan characters or characters related to courtly intrigue or espionage. That might be better. Which I don't think you picked that option, but it gave you inspiration.
It did. Because one of them was, family met ruin through, like, some art or something, and less than it gives... Because when you pick an ancestry, it usually gives you a modifier to your...
One of your social stats, they're called.
One of your social stats, and then it gives you, like, an advantage or disadvantage. And the one I was looking at gives you the disadvantage called Benton's Curse, which basically means in artistic or romantic pursuits, you are a little hobbled. And I was all like...
Ben 10 is the great fortune of romance and art.
Yes. So, and I was like, all right, but I want to have good love and stuff. And I was like, wait a minute.
Yes, you understand the drama, Lucky. The character wants things, but he's shitty at them.
Yes. So I was like, no, I'm literally going to do that. Because at this point, I hadn't picked my Ningyo either. So I was like, wait a minute, no. I've been playing around designing that he has a childhood love that he really wants, but he know he can't necessarily have. So one of his goals in life is to somehow persuade the families to, to matchmake them together. But for some odd reason, shit keeps going weird. So yeah, I literally picked up, let's see here, what holds your character back most in life? And I wrote as such. Tsubasa isn't quite sure why, but he seems to make an utter fool of himself when it comes to romance and the more subtle arts. He can create things well enough. He can play games well enough. But if he tries to talk about them, he gets tongue-tied and often says something rude or direct. Lady Sun forbid he talks about or to his childhood loves. This always ends poorly. Thankfully, he hasn't caused an incident over this, but Tsubasa worries that his next sip will be the one too many. I kind of negated this a little bit by picking the, what's number 11? It's... Shoot, I don't actually have the book open. It's the one that lets you, if you engage in this activity... Passion, that's what it was.
Yeah, passions are great.
Yeah, passion. I picked playfulness. Basically, if you do something that might be rude, people of equal or less status will just wave it off. Like, oh, it's just that guy. And I was like, at first I was all like, this kind of negates Benton's curse, but also...
Yeah, mechanically at least it doesn't, because those are two different things, right?
Yeah.
So they're not mutually exclusive, but also, narratively it works out, because you have a problem, you have cultivated a certain way you are to kind of counteract it.
Yes, and that also leads into the anxiety thing of, he might have a crippling fear of failure, and when that starts happening, he might start just laughing uncontrollably as he tries to defuse the situation.
Things are not going horribly.
Yeah, no. So, this is one of the things, things are feeding into each other.
So that means that eventually you need to weaponize that, and you need to take, I think it's a rank 3 Shuji, the Fire Shuji, crackling laughter. Oh, you literally laugh to mock your enemies.
I do have... Oh, yes. My character's ring, for its exact range, it's 3 fire, 3 air, 2 water, and then 1 earth and void. It's no, this is
Correct, you have made a scorpion.
Yes.
I think we talked about the derived stats, so it's your endurance is, I think that's keyed to fire, so that's okay.
Yeah.
Let me actually pull up the cheat sheet.
You wrote it down.
Yeah, I wrote it somewhere. So endurance, which is your not dying stat, or at least not getting injured, is earth plus fire times 2. So you've got some fire, you're okay at that. Because remember, you could be 1 and 1, so it is possible for characters to start with 4s in some of these. That's a fun one if you are all air and water. You have no endurance.
Oh god, really? Oh yeah.
Yeah, you have 4. That means that I think a katana's min damage is 4. So yeah, that means if somebody hits you with a sword, you're incapacitated. That means you have to sit on the floor and just breathe deeply. Because this is an important thing to note. The damage I talked about, it's kind of like a stance system, kind of like a lot of people use Sekiro or even now Ghost of Tsushima as an analogy. When you exceed your fatigue, when your fatigue exceeds your endurance, you are not out, you're not dead, you're not unconscious, those are all separate statuses. You are just incapacitated. You cannot take any actions that require a check, and the next blow that hits you will hit you for real, you will take a critical injury. That is the thing. Critical injuries are actually being hit for reals with a sword or a club or whatever. Fatigue damage is basically you parried, dodged, got out of the way, you positioned yourself so your armor took most of the blow, etc. It's not enough damage to actually hurt you. Like, it might even be, like, superficial damage. But if you get hit with a critical strike, that means somebody actually hits you for real with a sword. And depending on how much the deadliness is and how good you are at soaking crits, you might reduce that down to just, he just, like, dramatically cut your hakama, or your how are you open, he cut your shirt sleeve or your pant leg or something. You might get like a flesh wound, or if they do well, which they probably will, you start losing body parts. Down to, I think if you do deadliness 15 plus, is just they are instantly and immediately dramatically dead. Like there's a couple levels where you're like you have a few rounds where you're dying, you can be saved, but at like 15 plus, it's like, nah, that dude's just instantly dead.
Oh, yeah, so I found what you said in the right strategy. You said it's, I would be mild endurance, not good composure, great focus, and decent vigilance.
Yeah, so focus is your initiative stat when you are actively aware, and it's also your TN for certain things. And actually, I've started looking over some opportunities. There's an opportunity, I think, for fire to let you use your focus even if you're surprised during initiative.
Oh, neat.
So yeah, like if you have an opportunity, kind of the advantage system of like, I can maximize this. So you're really good at going first. You are not great at being hit, and you are super not great at stress stuff. And you're okay because you have a good air at noticing things, even if you are surprised, acting, stuff like that. Most people don't have a lot of void, so you have a normal-ass number of void points at 1, because it's void divided by 2 round up. So you don't get 2 void points unless you max out void at character gen. And there's a decent amount of ways to get it back.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so like, going through this, I've like already started to shaping what kind of character he is. He's seems to be like a good natured guy, quick to laugh and quick to put people at ease, but sometimes maybe he just laughs a little too much and might say the wrong thing. And that
definitely fits the, like, not every scorpion is like, cloak and daggers, look at how cool I am, ninjas can't catch you if you're covered in edges. Like, there are certainly some scorpion like that. Sorry, I name-checked a character in the fiction who only exists in the narrative to be a knobhead. He is an edgy knobhead, Bayushi Aramoro is. There is no argument. But some scorpions are like, yeah, I'm just a casual, super friendly dude. Maybe I'm more friendly than is socially allowed, but also, I might just stab you. Like, we talked about this, the appearing weak thing. Like, you work by appearing friendly and appearing perfectly normal, but then when it comes time to do a murder... Actually, I think you talked about that in chat, like, you're thinking this character's gonna be a little stabby stab.
A little stabby stab, like, I don't know if it's gonna be, like, I had a story in mind to, because this is what I like doing. I also like thinking up of just weird scenarios. And I'm not gonna tell the exact scenario, because I want to be, if it ever comes up, but basically, Tsubasa will tell a story of treachery and whatnot, and how a series of coincidences led to someone loyal to the Empire actually gaining power while at the same time removing something that might threaten it, and all it cost was like some innocence. And just the way he tells it, like, might imply that he might have been the one that done it, and he might regret it, because that's actually one of the questions. Which one is it? Yes, character's relationship with your clan. Number 7. Tsubasa believes that in the core tenets at their high level, but there should be a point where mercy should be given and initiative to be left out of schemes. May have butted heads a few times with a few others on the subject, and may have chosen harder routes to preserve others. He got +1 sentiment from it. And it's just one of those things, like I say again, I don't know if actually the story will actually come up, because I said, if we're doing the, Topaz championship, there's not being a lot of time for Tsubasa to go out and maybe or maybe not conduct a grand conspiracy.
Yeah, like maybe it's not literal, but also there are some.
But again, it could also just be something he's referenced or read or something.
And there could be a what you call it, like a retelling of something that happened, like even in your dojo. Like, you might. Because we talked about this before. Some scorpions struggle with the whole actually being for the emperor and stuff. So some of them take selfish routes, and certainly if you're a good scorpion, it would be a thing to like sacrifice a friend who's being a little bit of a shitbag to further your clan's goals. But also friends though.
Yeah. So again, it was a story because Again, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get in my character's headspace and develop role-playing opportunities. He's someone who's believes sometimes things must be done for the greater good, but at this time in his life, he's not entirely sure how far one must go for the greater good. Where is that stopping point? Which I think is something
that will definitely be a good question for the campaign. Like, I'm not, they talk about different campaign settings. This isn't quite like, what do they call it? Like blood and blot. But they talk about a campaign type, which is about exploring the transience of life and all that stuff. And it's like, nah, this isn't going to be quite that deep. But there will definitely be questions of like theoretically you might run into a situation where like, okay, we found this peasant. He's done something bad. Mm-hmm. Not like stabbed a samurai in the back bad. That guy's dead. That guy's fucking dead then. Like, that's like if you guys are good samurai, you're like, that guy murdered a samurai. He's dead. Mm-hmm. I will report it to the nearest samurai after I have stabbed him, right? Like, or this peasant did blood magic. Oh, well, he's a traitor and he's fucking dead now. But like, maybe he did something like illegal or arranged, something else that caused harm. So it's like, okay, well, we can't do him in ourselves because this peasant is not in our chain of command. He is not in our lands. We are not in our own lands. So we can't just murder him. That would be impolite. Literally, I believe that's a sacrifice of courtesy to like, if you or a breach of courtesy. If you go around smashing other people's property and people in their organization without their approval, that's not good.
No.
But it would be a sacrifice of righteousness if we let his moral wrongitude stand. So you got to kind of pick. What do we do? Who do we talk about? And out of character, you can always go, yeah, but also maybe he was in a bad spot. Maybe he was doing something to help himself and others that was not morally correct, but was necessary. You got to think about these things. And then that could be an actual, like, turning point where some of the characters kind of, like, work out. Actually, yeah, like, Kenji's a good example of, like, that's lots of side stories in Ghost of Tsushima basically are like L5R, where Gene has to look at these things and go like, I don't like that you did that, but I have bigger fish to fry, so... Or some of his classic, like, all right, you cut that shit out right now. If I see you again, I'm fucking stab you. I'll do it. A relation to a character I want to talk about, because that's probably a spoiler for some people who aren't deep, and I know might be listening, but he has a certain conversation with a character, which is, don't ever try to kill me again. Yeah, I've done that. I told you. I'm basically, I gotta, like, wrap up the main story quest for Act 2, so I've seen some things, done some stuff. But, like, that's kind of the questions it'll have, because there's this whole interaction system with your honor score and glory and stuff. So it's like, yeah, no, I want to ask you guys the questions and like have you guys figure out for yourselves. That's the whole purpose of having like different characters have different reactions to Bushido. Mm-hmm. Like, as a Scorpion, you aren't as big on sincerity. You will lose less honor to the point of for minor breaches not losing any, because I think it's round down. Mm-hmm. So and the minor breach or a trifling breach is like 1 honor. Mm-hmm. To lie. You don't necessarily, or not even to lie. I think sincerity is more about keeping to making your words and deeds as one. Mm-hmm. So, like, yes, there is the opportunity to lie in there, but definitely stuff like saying you'll do something and being like, nah. So as a character, you won't necessarily be incentivized, even if you're even bothering to keep a high honor score. I don't know. We'll see. That'll be an interesting thing to see, like, what characters decide they actually care about honor. This is another thing talking about mechanical and narrative integration. If your honor's super high, you get free advantages. If your honor's super low, you take disadvantages. So, like, some characters will be like, I don't really want extra disadvantages. I'll have to try and remember to keep my Bushido code. And some people will be like, no, I'm trying to be really honorable. I want those advantages. Right? Like, it gives you mechanical incentives to keep your role-playing straight. Mm-hmm. But that'll be a question of, like, I don't lose as much for doing this. Do I want to frame it this way? And then the other characters kind of react. Or are you going to be like, ooh, this is, like, compassion, for instance, not a core value to you either way. Like, it's not a big deal, it's not a little deal. It's just a normal-ass deal of Bushido. Would your character be like, ooh, but compassion, though? Giving mercy, letting him go kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that is definitely one of the cruxes of it. Like, on the one hand, there's, kind of samurai drama, the hint of the supernatural kind of activity, right? Mm-hmm. But then there's also going to be, like, sometimes the only, like, give or take of a scenario is, like, okay, did you do something people know about? Your glory goes up. Did you fuck up in a way that people know about? Your glory goes down. And then the internal struggles of like, okay, but how did you come to this conclusion? Where's your honor going to be? What did you sacrifice for? What did you breach? Mm-hmm. And different episodes and arcs will basically be like, yeah, this arc will probably have a lot of opportunities for you guys to make sacrifices for compassion or to fuck up honor, but this other one will have a lot more where it's more about courage and, could risk courtesy. Like, will you be rude to people to get your goals done? And so on and so forth, kind of back and forth. And it'll be interesting to see once we have a final assembled number of player characters, like what all their values are and how they shake out.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm excited. Like, again, I should remind people we're not planning on playing L5R anytime soon. Lucky just really likes making characters and thinking about them.
Like, minimum won't be until we finish Star Wars, which will probably be a while. But even then, it'll probably be longer because, like I said, I've got a lot of people queued up who want to be in this. I should start with the people who were interested the earliest and kind of, run down the stacks of time. So, like I said, I literally have, more people than I can handle clamoring to get in here. So I'm like, no, okay, hold on, people. Hold on. It's not done yet. Let me finish writing it, and then let me try and fucking schedule it and organize it. See who's interested, see who's really interested and stuff like that. Get the people I want to have in. Like, Lucky's bought in, that's good. I know for sure Lucky is in. Marth at least has made a character. I'm pretty sure he's in. Because I actually ran the 4th edition of L5R for him before, and he didn't like the rules and the style as much, but obviously the mechanics are quite dramatically different, and even the setting is kind of... Something I appreciate they did when Fantasy Flight took it over is they reset the canonicity, right? Like, they went back in continuity over, 20 years of the setting, so, that gives us some more excuse of, okay, well, while there's still, quote-unquote, 1,000 years of history, it's not necessarily all important, So, and the meta plot stuff is still much more limited to, maybe a year or two of events, which I am also saying I'm not 100% tying into the meta plot as it occurs in the fiction and stuff, because obviously that's ongoing all the time, and I have no control over... Yeah, I mean, sometimes they do polls and stuff, but I generally don't have any control actively over which direction the story goes, so I'm like, okay... We're going to acknowledge the story as it exists when the fiction starts, and when it sets up certain conflicts between certain characters and groups. I will use canon characters where it counts, like the Emperor is still Hante the 38th? Shit, I gotta double check his digits, but it's written in my notes somewhere.
A lot of Hantes.
Yeah, Hante is the imperial family name, and it's very prestigious. I believe only the sitting Emperor and the imperial heirs get to hold it. Not even, I think, the imperial consort gets the name. And when you get passed over, it's funny, they actually have a containment family. One of the imperial families is the Otomo house, who, exist mostly to, catch spare Hantes. I believe the founding Otomo was the second son of the founding emperor, and he was like, nah, I'll renounce all my claims, I'm not gonna fight my brother for the throne, I'm gonna start my own family, and we're gonna watch out for you, bro, and if you have, 5 kids, we'll take those extra kids, And actually, they have a ritual. If a sitting emperor dies without an heir, they will bust out their genealogy tables. They will look for the closest related Otomo, and they will basically, as I like to say it, they will basically reactivate him. They'll be like, okay, you're gonna do a ritual of reversal. You're gonna stop being an Otomo. You're gonna be a Hante again. You're the emperor now. Okay, go. Boom. I love little things like that. And especially in this edition, they have really played up how important and spiritually significant adoption is. Adoption is as important as birth, basically. Which, at least from my understanding of historical literature and stuff like that, is actually true to the Japanese time period. Adopting somebody as your heir is as good as having a kid. So, that leaves open a lot of possibilities and a lot of interest. And there's even a disadvantage called adopted peasant. Which happens more frequently with Shugenja than others, but yeah, occasionally you'll see a peasant kid and be like, this kid's samurai now. And obviously there's some interesting things about genealogy. There are a decent number of born Ronin who are like, my parents were definitely samurai class, or at least one of them was, but they didn't have a lord or couldn't acknowledge me, so I'm kind of a samurai, but kind of not. It's very interesting to think about the class system, and there's a lot of layers. This is another thing it's interesting that's true to historical Japan. In terms of social class, merchants are actually at the bottom of the peasantry. They're not as bad as hinin, basically non-people, like the people who do all the really dirty stuff we don't talk about.
Yep.
Grave diggers, sewer workers, leather workers, all the stuff that's super spiritually unclean all the time. They're important, but also they're really grody. So yeah. But merchants are at the lowest of the Heyman, the middle class, because they don't produce anything. It's funny how that works. Like, they have a lot of social clout because of money, which samurai are traditionally bad at, but everybody kind of shits on merchantry because they're like, dude, what do you make? You just make money. Money's nothing. Your money's useless because the unit of money in Rokugan is the koku, which is supposed to have a value set at enough rice to feed a man for a year, which is actually a big deal. Rice is premium food. You might not think it now. Rice is primo food.
Yeah, actually, samurai used to actually be paid in rice.
Correct. So, and in L5R, you are ideally being paid in, or if you're paid at all, your lord usually provides your meals and stuff, but basically you are quote-unquote paid in koku, which are the value of rice. So, if there's no farmers who make rice, your money is useless. Though obviously, sorry, slight cough. Obviously, in certain lands, certain families, certain time periods, that's different. But, laborers, farmers are actually at the top of the working class. Like, if you're a samurai, you respect your farmers. They keep you fed. They are important. They are valuable. Like, you don't go casually murdering anybody's farmers. That's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it's artisans and craftsmen are kind of under that because they need laborers to produce the goods. Yeah, that's actually going to be interesting. There's not a lot of army themes in the campaign I'm running. There may be an opportunity for some mass combats, but it's not a big deal. But that is the next source book they've announced is going to be the lion-themed one that will have discussions of logistics about raising and feeding your army. And it is very important. If you're in the field and starving, guess what? You don't have an army anymore. Like, loyalty and honor. So, honor is sharper than steel, or stronger than steel, I think is the tagline. But also, man, hunger sucks.
Well, you gotta remember, a lot of armies just recruit fucking Ashigaru, which pretty much are usually peasants. They give a stick.
Yes, that is actually codified in this, if you meet an army, most of them are a peasant levy or an Ashigaru, like, okay, usually like a farmer, or a craftsman, or a miner, or whatever, and we're like, okay, we need war. You're gonna leave your house. Usually this is why we warfare in summer, by the way, because summer is the growing season. People don't need to be home all the time. I'm gonna hand you a spear, hand you a yari, I'm going to hand you some light armor, and you are going to march in a box and stab those mans. And actually, like, that's a super concern. For instance, the Crab Clan have invented the crossbow, and they train their peasants how to use it because they have to fight gribbly horrors from the Shadowlands, and like, man, crossbows are great.
Man, I really want a crossbow, but I don't know if I could justify having one.
Well, you're a samurai. You could probably work it out, especially as like an exotic gift, because the Scorpion Lands kind of border the Crab Lands.
Oh, they do? I haven't seen a map. I haven't seen a map of the lands, but I'll keep that in mind.
Yes, the maps are a little sketch. I can probably find one. It'll be an old map, but it will roughly sketch out who goes where.
I'll check the rarity, because there are some items that you can literally get as gifts.
Yeah, stuff. I think a crossbow is probably like 6. Or lower. Not like the fancy ones, like they have repeating crossbows and other bullshit.
No, I just want a standard crossbow, man.
But like talking about other clans and samurai, I think it's kind of weird that the Crab give this easily learned repeating weapon to their peasants. It hasn't bitten anybody in the ass yet, but that's obviously a plot hook you could work with. And that is a thing. We've talked about this before. Rokugan does have it is actually mentioned. I did double check. There is a imperial edict against the gaijin pepper, against gunpowder. There are forms of fireworks and other forms of chemistry and stuff, but actually using black powder or, God forbid, firearms is super illegal for reasons. Sacrilegious reasons. That's another thing I really love about L5R is just they always try to and manage to heavily kind of integrate the spiritual aspect. Like, yeah, no, the kami are fucking everywhere. Like, just like Japanese folklore, magic shit just happens. Like, yeah, there might be a fucking kappa under that bridge, and he might crawl out from under them and be like, "Sup, nerds?
Give him cucumbers."
Yeah. Or trick him to bow.
Yeah. Or beat him in sumo.
Any number of things. I don't know if they have stats, but they definitely mention the like Kamiatachi thing.
I do not know how to beat a Kamiatachi off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't know. Kamiatachi is the 3 weasels, the wind weasel thing. I think that's an excuse for phantom pains, basically. Mm-hmm. In European folklore, that's where elf shot comes from. The idea that elves are shooting you with invisible arrows. Really, that's probably just you've strained a muscle, bub. But anyway, technically Kitsune are playable. That's one of the expanded splats is playing a Kitsune impersonator. You are a fox spirit or fox spirit descended human.
Listen,
if Lucky to be a normal dude.
Listen, I totally would have lived my Fox Girl anime girl dreams if I had realized that sooner, but no, I already committed.
That's
Next
fine,
time,
yes.
Next time.
Yeah, no, I was really very much wondering if you would take that opportunity knowing it's in there. And it's actually on my list because narratively and mechanically it's super interesting. Like, you get an extra disadvantage. You get false identity because, hey, you're a shapeshifter.
Mm-hmm.
Your real powers are not your real powers kind of thing.
Yep.
But also they get to do cool stuff like free shapeshifting. And if you reach Mastery Rank 6, you grow your 9th tail and can eat people's souls. It's Rank 6 is pretty bullshit. Mastery abilities are all crazy. Because the game may never reach that far. But it's an interesting one, yeah.
Yeah, no.
It's still on my recommended list because it plays into the theme so well. But the supernatural thing is super interesting. Somebody asked about Hwachas. No, there would be no Hwacha. There are ballistae and stuff. But especially in the crab splat, they have mentioned there are a couple of interesting versions they've developed. One is called the Storm Bow, and it's basically a shotgun. It's a crossbow that fires a small bundle of darts, which means you can hit multiple people together. It's really weird. They also have, I don't necessarily know how it works, but they have something called the Storm Bow. It's a super heavy crossbow. It fires a big heavy bolt, like it literally does bonus damage to larger silhouette creatures. If we were to play a Shadowlands game, it would be very Doom. But we're not, because it's, as I said, it's playing a Shadowlands theme campaign is definitely playing a completely separate, very specific type of game. Usually a meat grindery one. But yeah, like in terms of innovation, the Crab are one of the most innovative clans. They have a dedicated engineering family, the Caillou, who are all about, like, building great works and coming up with new weapons and interesting tools to fight the Shadowlands.
The Ayumi is rarity 8. I think that might be too high.
Ooh, yeah, no, I think it's 7 is maybe the biggest you can get.
I will check.
You might have to find one. Yeah, and it's, the crossbow name is Oyumi.
Jesus fuck, it's 40 Koku shit.
Yeah, welcome to my life. Yeah, no. That's a big deal. I think the best starting funds, like your starting stipend in the game, is like 10 Koku. Not that Koku necessarily matters, like it's you can do things purely on money based, and they've got some support for that, but in general there's also just a requisition from your lord and how well can you roll. Is the TN rarity divided by 2? Probably. That would mean,
yeah.
Which means that would be hard. You'd have to roll an exploding success. Yeah, there are some families, like, and that's the thing, like, you could not be a literal fox spirit, you could be a person descended from one. But yeah, the false identity thing is, like, you're pretending to be part of a family or something. Like, you are not a normal-ass samurai, you gotta worry about that kind of thing. There's some stuff. It's an Emerald Empire, I could beam it to you, if you don't already have that link. We'll talk about that some other time. But yeah, the Crab are very big in innovation, the other one are the Dragon. I love the Dragon because so we've talked about how different clans have different views of Bushido, right?
Mm-hmm.
And actually, honestly, it's very weird. Historically, the Scorpion and the Dragon get along kind of well. I believe that's because in real life their player bases did.
Oh yeah, no, I've already decided. My Subasa's parents was a political marriage between a dragon and a scorpion, and they actually get around very lovingly.
Actually, that's huge. It's I don't think this has been repeated yet because the Scorpion clan book hasn't come out. But in the old lore, it was actually a note. Scorpion are unique in that they do not remarry. They marry once. Yeah, that's a Scorpion tradition. They marry once, and then if you are widowed, or God forbid, if you could be divorced, because I don't think that's been suggested that can happen under certain political circumstances. You typically do not remarry, whereas most other samurai would make a political match.
Mm.
But yeah, so it's funny because we talk about how they get along well together, but the Dragon values of Bushido is they value least loyalty and value most sincerity. Which is the literal opposite of the Scorpion. To the Dragon, blind loyalty is not loyalty at all. You should not listen to people just because they're in charge of you. You should actually, like, question them, ask them why they do stuff, figure stuff out. Which is why sincerity is important. The Dragon believe that your actions and your words should match up. And not just even that, but, like, you should live basically kind of the feudal Japan fantasy version of live your best life. Like, no, you should be true to your values and your truth, basically. Like, you should live your truest life.
Yeah,
which means that most samurai find the dragon really fucking weird. Because they have individuality.
This might be why Tsubasa might be a little weird.
That makes perfect sense. God forbid if you've been hanging out with your dragon relations. Oh, the Kitsuki. Those weird lunatics. They think that things like evidence are more important than testimony. That's a literal truth, by the way. The dragon have a family, the Kitsuki, and I think I will need to assemble a genealogy type cheat sheet for players to be like who founded what family when. But the Kitsuki family were founded by a member who, it's called Kitsuki's Method, which is basically like evidence-based policing in a feudal setting, where he's like, they realized that I believe the way they describe it is like, no, everything leaves a physical trace. So it doesn't matter what somebody says, if I can physically trace this to this, they are correct kind of thing, right? Like it's, which most of Rokugan is just like, that's not quite correct. Like, I think the way they put it is, it's not like they will ignore evidence, but the way that it works is usually the highest ranking status person in the room is considered the most correct. So whatever he decides is the truth. But the way that the Kitsuki work is that, like, they believe the evidence first and foremost, and they are basically Samurai Sherlock. So yeah, that's part of the great quote-unquote rivalry between them and the Scorpion, is like, the Kitsuki are always like, oh, we're gonna solve crimes, and the Scorpion like, please don't do that. It's like that quote from Black Dynamite. But Black Dynamite, I sell drugs to the community. After Black Dynamite has said, I will beat up anybody selling drugs to my community.
Oh no, I like to envision their parents. It's one of those opposite attracts kind of things.
Yeah, like it was a political match, but their personalities mesh very well.
Because that's another thing I was looking at. Is like, again, I've been doing a lot of reading and just like, matchmaker
reading is good. There's a lot to read too.
My character doesn't know that. You don't tell those things, X. You don't. But yeah, but like I said, like, I'm having a lot of fun with this, just thinking up things, writing things and stuff. Like the skill that he picked up with his parents approve of is games. Because that's something that his parents do all the time. Whenever they get into an argument, they settle it with a game.
And honestly, games are have a lot of variation and a lot of interpretation in Rokugan, which can be very useful. Because there is this thing talking about sub-skills, like what falls under it. So games includes like generic gambling, specifically Fortunes and Wins, which is a dice game. It covers, classic games like Shogi and Go. It covers Kamari, ball games, the game of letters, and Sarane, which I believe are specific to L5R, but they are games of words, literal word games of a type.
Oh, like Shiratori.
Yeah. The game of... there's a story of explaining the game of letters, but it's basically like a guy wants to write a letter to somebody, but of course the letter gets intercepted, and then he, like, the next person, like, phrases it a weird way, and it's basically, like, almost like playing a game of telephone, kind of. And Sarane is almost like a verbal duel. Two contestants go back and forth trading polite but cutting remarks about a subject, either each other or an agreed upon subject of discourse. You are not allowed to repeat any sentiments. So if somebody drops, "Yo mama so fat," you can't go back, "Well, your mama so fat." Like, that's against the rules. And you basically trade back and forth until either a judge is like, "This person has been burned so badly, you cannot continue," or the other person's just like, "Ah, shit, I can't think of anything new, I'm done." Like, it's a really interesting concept of, like, how to be insulting but polite. But also, games includes Kemari, like I said, ball games, which can be played solo, like hacky sack, or in a team, and stuff like sport hunting. I don't think they explicitly call out Mahjong, but Mahjong is probably in there. Similarly, I don't see, like, Koi Koi or anything in there, but we also have seen people play card games, and you can buy cards, I believe. Which, by the way, is actually super interesting for fluff reasons, because the Japanese were introduced to playing cards by the Dutch, I believe.
Sounds
super
like
cool.
It, yeah. Now I think about it,
Which also ties back to Nintendo. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. And also, this is something I love about this game so far, right? They try to integrate all the skills. Games is a social skill. That means there are social techniques based on games, which are really cool. I can't remember, was it in Courts of Stone or Emerald Empire? There's actually a game hook that's based around a game player and a game tournament. Yeah, I think it's probably in Emerald Empire.
I think it's in Emerald Empire.
Yeah, like there's something back and forth, but no, I'm talking about there's like social techniques. Like I believe you roll games with the Shuji assess strengths.
Yes, because I get that as a Bayushi Death Dealer. Actually, I get that.
Yeah, it's a good one. That's so you basically can use games to size up an opponent and figure out, okay, based on my knowledge of tactics and whatnot and physicalness, I can estimate that this guy has so many skill ranks in stuff like games, martial arts, etc. There is a water shuji called Fun in Games, which lets you spend opportunities while playing a game to heal other players and watchers of strife. Just have a fun time playing games. It's super cool. Then there's the reverse of that. There's a fire shuji, which is called, what is it, like, spiteful loss. Where if you fail a games check, you lose a game, you can spend opportunity to give everybody else strife. As you are such a sore loser, everybody else is stressed out. Which is a great social technique, like literally being bad at a game so you can stress other people out. There's a lot of social maneuvering, and I love it so much. I want to see more games-based shuji.
Okay, cool. Well, as I said, I'm probably going to be taking games-based shuji because I think I'm going to have a 2-in-game starting out here.
Seems fair. And like you said, you have assess strength as a starter.
Yeah.
And then you should think about what your favorite games are. You know, do you play Go, Shogi?
Probably Go. I was probably Go and Shogi because I was actually looking at the item, the traveling kit. Like that's what one of they bring. And honestly, he probably saw his parents playing them a lot. Like I said, again, I'm having a lot of fun just coming up with all these little bitty things.
And hopefully, like right now, actually, interestingly, Axe is actually, because we brought up the Kitsune thing, I think it looks like he's chewing an idea a little bit. I know he was interested in playing, but I don't know how solid his kind of character idea was. But like, hopefully, because we have a lot of people, I can find enough people to solidify the group that this will be a lot of people who are interested and have this buy-in to actually like do this discussion, right? This role playing.
Yeah.
Because, well, obviously there will be, fighting of demons and monsters and banditos and other samurais and stuff, because obviously the game has multiple types of conflicts I want to show off. Also, just some of it will just be like, oh shit, how do we solve this problem? Like, how do we deal with this?
Like, looking at it, hacking at the game, they put a lot of emphasis on actually, social conflicts and court intrigue too. Like, I would say almost just as much as physical combat.
Sketched out in the core book, there are 4 explicit types of conflict scenes, right? And they talk about, you might have narrative scenes, you might have downtime scenes. Again, I love that they call out downtime as like a specific thing. And some things are specifically downtime actions. It's great. Because I love downtime, actually, and I love describing it and kind of working, because it lets people accomplish longer form tasks, but also like explore their characters. By the way, the opportunities for downtime are amazing. I think you can spend 2 opportunities if you make a downtime check with air to mean that characters of your choice don't know what you did with your downtime. Like I said, I've started working on some charts for some opportunity, because that's always I don't think there's a good collection yet of all the opportunities, and much like with Star Wars, that's like Axe Kitsuki family and their school is in core, the core book, but the Kitsune impersonator school is in Emerald Empire. It's one of the weird ones they added. Like, in addition to adding Imperial families and schools, Emerald Empire also added a couple of generic stuff, like some monk schools and things. Because being a monk is a whole different thing. But yeah, we were talking about, like, the different way they do social. So there are 4 kinds of structured scenes for conflict. There's skirmish, small man fight, team on team, basically. There are mass combats, armies on armies. Very specifically, at least right now, you are leading units, large units in an army, smashing each other. Blobs of mans versus blobs of mans. There is a duel, which is got burpee in there. Usually a 1v1 martial conflict, though also you can do some interesting kind of fluff in there. And they have alternatives too. If you only have like one player character who duels and everybody else is going to get bored, you can like do them faster.
I don't know.
Resolve them with a single roll.
If my boy's in the duel, I might give that guy the fucking poison dart.
Yeah, you never know. You could do a cheetah. You could also be in a duel. Your school Waishi Death Dealer can also be basically pocket duelist. Like, you can pick up some dueling good techniques.
Oh yeah, no, we can get like Ijitsu and stuff. And actually, I'm actually kind of building towards actually some Ijitsu stuff. I think my character is going to lose an eye. in training.
Start with a shinobi katana?
No. I get a fake. Wait, no, is it a shinobi? No. It's the one that's in Court of Stone. It's the fake katana. It's the one that's looks like it's a katana, but it's a little bit shorter. So
that is the shinobi katana. Yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah. It's a slightly shorter blade, so you can. That's actually really good for dueling because you can. It's got the concealable trait, which means you can ready it and perform an attack with it as a single action. So that means you can do quick draws and strike people without looking like you're cheating.
Yes.
Normally, to do a single draw and cut, you need an Iaijutsu technique.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I could pin them all because there's like 4 different ones, but I can link them again if you need them. Sorry, that's some chat stuff. But yeah, so like, dueling is usually 1v1 stuff, but also you can do a little stuff. In Courts of Stone, they introduced the technique Deceitful Strike, which I love. In a clash or duel, you can spend opportunity to make it look like you only accidentally killed that guy. Instead of being, oh no, I'm definitely killing that guy.
I don't think I get that for free, but I know it's in my school.
It's in your
list.
School. You probably don't get it right away, but you have to buy it. And we will, when we get closer, I will discuss with everybody what things to look out for like character advancement and how to gain EXP and jot down. There's a little bit of math calculation in it.
Yeah, no, like I'm not gonna lie, I don't understand how leveling up your school and all that stuff works. I'm just like,
it's a little finicky. I think if I can sit a whole bunch of people down and explain it all at once, we can probably roll through it. But there's some interesting ways about mechanical spending, and I even have some house rule ideas for some other stuff about it because of some things. The way titles are treated is weird, where titles are kind of these, like, they usually have, like, social stat modifiers, and have special abilities, kind of like a school, but also come with a mini curriculum.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, for instance, if you're like a yoriki, you're the assistant to a magistrate, you get, like, access to certain skills, I think a couple of different kata, and you can, while you have this title, you can buy rank 1 to 3 kata at any time. Even if you're not allowed to, so if you're like a Shugenja or something who doesn't normally get kata techniques, you can just be like, yeah, I'm gonna take some Iaijutsu, some striking as fire. Yeah, cool, great.
I'm actually thinking probably taking striking as air. Actually, no, maybe striking as fire would be better if I'm trying to go for a one-hit kill. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say that's interesting. Generally, I would say don't take striking as air, because it's not great. Striking as air means you have to make a skill check and then drop those dice to reserve them for your next strike. Like, narratively, there are some opportunities, and you actually might be playing a character who might actually legit be like, yeah, this turn I'm gonna completely suck at this roll, to then roll again. But the problem is that if you just roll good on your second check anyway, striking as air didn't matter. So it plays poorly with action economy.
Yeah, so I was thinking I might stick with striking as fire.
Yeah, the other striking ases are very good. Water lets you and other people ignore physical resistance, earth gives you better physical resistance, and fire increases critical hit severity on the guy. Which includes for other people, so you can totally soften people up. It's great. And striking as void is a rank 5 technique, the last rank, so you know it's really fucking good, and it is. Striking as void is actually phenomenal. There's a reason why it's rank 5. Anyway. But yeah, so, duels are that, and then we talk about the social conflicts, how we get started on this. I always get distracted with L5R because I feel like I've held in a lot of this stuff, and so it's good to have people to talk to about it, to actually discuss back and forth. But the fourth type of structured conflict scene is an intrigue, literally a social scene. Characters set social objectives and work towards them, sometimes and often, most times, in competition of each other. So yeah, there's a whole lot of emphasis on being in social scenes, either narratively or literally be like, okay, we need to convince the Lord to hear our petition and send men's to our village to defend against bandits. And then you can, like, all gang up and organize, and then maybe there's that one shifty minister who actually hired those bandits to raid your village because he's an asshole, and, like, he's working against you. Oh, my lord, don't worry about that village. It's perfectly fine. I don't know why I'm Japanese-Irish all of a sudden. I was trying to be snooty, but I became very Irish.
You fucking
also,
like
by the way, since this campaign will probably be recorded because I want to bring more L5R content to the channel and kind of bring people in and actually, like, show this off. Spoiler warning, Omega's not going to do any racist accents. We're going to avoid that. If anything, people will have English accents of various types. Like much like with how anime dubbing works, if I want somebody to sound cultured, I might make them sound kind of British. And if I want to reflect somebody speaking with a Kansai Ben accent, I might get suddenly Southern. Oh, this man's from the south of Rokugan. I'll tell you what. But yeah, so you can do social intrigues that actually, like, build up to your social points and don't involve punching anybody, but also maybe involve punching somebody, because that's one of the suggested forms of unmasking is Honor's Challenge. The classic, perhaps you'd like to back up your words with steel, which is by the way, that's a very serious accusation to actually, like, bust out and be like, I challenge you to a duel, sir. Because they actually, I think it's in Courts of Stone, but it might be in the core book, they have a discussion about killing in duels. If you kill somebody in a duel to first strike, that's a murder. Like, you're only supposed to touch that guy. You've killed him. That's a murder. If somebody dies in a duel to first blood, well, your whole point was to draw out his blood. That's usually seen as an unfortunate accident. It happens sometimes. And,
a little bit of a faux pas, maybe.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a faux pas, but most people are generally like, well, okay. I mean, we told you to make him bleed his blood, so, you're fighting with 3-foot razor blades. It's not an exact science. But you might be fighting in a duel to the death. If you kill your opponent there, that's the whole goal. Yay! Good for you. And I love these discussions, because that really sets the stakes. Like, I gotta be honest, you guys, as player characters, especially, like I said, with the possibility of Topaz Championship, you guys are gonna be, like, ages, 16 to 20, basically high school age. You probably won't be fighting in a lot of duels to the death, especially early, unless you guys deliberately raise the stakes that high. But you could. And also, like I said, fighting in a duel to first blood, the goal in a duel to first blood is to inflict a critical strike of a certain level of severity, basically make them bleed their blood. Which means that if you strike very hard, you can definitely go up into that crit severity I mentioned where you lose body parts. Like you said, you're thinking about having lost an eye in Cargen, basically. That is also a thing I think is a little weird. And I've noted, I will tell people to watch out for if you think about designing a character. Because the critical system at high levels assigns you disadvantages of a certain type, there are actually quite a lot of disadvantages which are about basically serious injuries, disabilities, etc.
You can lose hands, fingers, lose damaged nerves, break your spine, missing organs, lose limbs.
Right, and some of those you can pass off as congenital, like, oh, I had a bad heart, oh, I was blind from birth, etc. But also you can pick up a lot of these just through being scarred, so that is the thing to watch out, is to make sure you don't, all go apeshit on picking the scar disadvantages as your first disadvantage, so you all end up just covered in wounds as 15-year-old kids.
Like I said, I feel like an eye is okay. It also gives me a reason to have a sweet eye patch.
Yeah, as part of your face covering. Scorpion. But also, especially because you are from a Bushi school, you're trained as a warrior, especially if you take a dueling focus. That means you almost assuredly practiced with live steel. Which means accidents happen. I think I've done that plenty of times with pre-gens and being like, oh yeah, no, you're a Bushi? Oh yeah, no, definitely you've got some training injuries. You probably broke a bone. But yeah, sometimes you gotta pick and choose, obviously, your things, and some of them don't make sense, right? What'd you call, let me see. Especially as kids, debt maybe doesn't work. And I would say for our kind of campaign, picking Momoku, the thing where you're blind to spiritual entities, that's probably going to come back to bite you in the ass a lot. Because I've already said I'm definitely going to have quite a few supernatural themes. On the other hand, maybe something like Demon Wound could actually come up. I think in general, people probably pick, and there are a couple different ones that are more basic, like overconfidence in a certain feature you have, or other stuff. Hauntings can make sense. I think Marth's current version of his character has Hunted by Chikushudo, which is the realm of animals. So animals just don't like him. Not explicitly, no. That would come in various other things. But there are a lot of curses and other weird. Literally, they have tags to let you know where these things come up. One of them for disadvantages and advantages is spiritual. So, you can. Momoku's a spiritual one. Demon Wound is a scar, but also spiritual. Demon Wound, by the way, means you were injured by some nasty supernatural thing, so you have a weird cursed injury, which is super cool.
That is actually pretty cool.
There's the various curses, which are usually spiritual, because they could be. This is the thing I love also about the setting. Like, we talked about you having Benten's curse. That could be that literally somewhere in your past life you actually pissed off the Fortune Benten. Or it could just be that you're bad at like subtle arts and stuff, and or you know, subtle romantic language, and everybody just thinks you're cursed because that's how this setting works. Allergy is one that can come up. Clumsiness is a pretty basic one. You can have a cursed lineage. A favorite one if you're playing a unicorn character, but could also be others, is the trio of Gaijin appearance, culture, or name. Basically, you look foreign, you sound foreign, or you act foreign. That's a very common for for unicorn, because the unicorn clan actually spent a lot of time outside the empire for like 800 years, and have holdings outside of it even. But yeah, I think the distinctions and adversities are probably the most samey, because you can acquire some of them through a lot of set means. Passions and anxieties are where the game is like probably the weirdest and wildest. I'm kind of sad there's not more anxieties. That said, coming up with defining these on your own is also really easy. Actually, have I shared with you guys my homebrew? I homebrewed some advantages.
No, I haven't seen that. Because I was definitely thinking of one of maybe regret, but I was like, wait, no, I haven't actually done anything much to be regretful of. So
yeah, that's definitely a question. Like, depending on how this character starts, that might not actually work out.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, with failure, he really loves his family, wants to do good by them, but
yeah, fear of failure is a good one.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are some examples that I've either come up or have modified from other people.
I'm gonna look at it now. Extend the family, gut feeling, honor debt, blessing, prisoner of war.
Yep. And like I said, so every disadvantage or advantage has the same mechanical effect depending on their category.
There's cooking now. What? Oh, well, too late now. Maybe next time. Gaming too. Oh, whatever. No, it's fine. It's fine.
I came up with a lot of passions. Are pretty easy to come up with stuff that's not in there and be like, yeah, that works. Like, I came up with like the matchmaking one, like pairing up other people. Pillow talk fire, a knack for romantic language.
Not this character. Like I said, I'm going for awkward Japanese high school rom-com kind of guy. Only in feudal Japan. It's gonna be great.
Well, there is I don't know if you've seen it, but in Courts of Stone there is an opportunity table for in romance.
Oh, that's gonna be great.
By the way, if you roll in, if you want a romantic opportunity spend in Void for I think 3 opportunity, you can arrange an anime ass meet cute. You suddenly bump into your intended subject and like accidentally touch hands or lock eyes or something. Oh, scandalous!
I gotta look at that. I have to look at that.
Yeah, this you can tell the writers of these things like understand the genre they're going for. It's great. But it is now like 9 o'clock. How long have we been going? We're going for almost 4 hours. We should probably wind up.
We probably have.
If we're starting to ramble a little bit, I should probably get some food.
So I had a question here, real quick.
Yep.
So I'm looking at Bioshi Death Dealer, and it says techniques available is kata, rituals, and suji. But in my roles, it's bushi and shinobi. Does this mean that even though I'm a shinobi, I cannot buy shinobi techniques? I can only get the ones that are listed in the school?
Yes, you can only get... ninjutsu access is somewhat limited. You can only get the ninjutsu techniques that are listed in your school, which actually, it's supported in the fluff. They talk about this. Shinobi Dojo don't teach you everything you need to know about being a ninja, just what you need to learn the skills of your school.
Okay. That's fine, because at least I still get Deceitful Strike, because those are one of the things I really wanted. Yes, you'll get Deceitful
Strike. You probably start with Skulk.
Nope, no Skulk.
Interesting. You don't start with Skulk. Do you have an opportunity to buy Skulk in there somewhere?
No. I get Deceitful Strike, Deadly Sting, Cunning Distraction, and Stillness of Death.
All really good. Okay. That makes sense. Okay, so Deadly Sting is the poison one, which also with the Shinobi Katana.
Also, and this is why I kind of want to get some Aijutsu stuff, because the Class 6 ability is Strike First, Strike Last. When you inflict a critical strike during a duel or skirmish, treat the deadliness of your weapon as increased by the difference between your initiative and the target's initiative, subtracting the lower of the 2 initiative values from the highest.
Yeah, so the faster or slower you go, the more deadly your strikes are. Very Bayushi, it's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yes, the way that works is that your school will list what techniques you have available freely. So it's still limited by your school rank and your clan and stuff. So you can't like buy the dragon, even though you are technically descended from a dragon. You cannot for free buy Lord Togashi's Insight, the secret dragon clan technique, because you are a Bayushi. You know, that's how, like I said, this is talking about the spiritual power of adoption thing.
Mhm.
Like, you are spiritually a scorpion. But you can buy anything that you meet the prerequisites for that is a kata, a martial technique, a shuji, a social technique, or rituals, which are like just rituals. Like, they're spiritual or otherwise significant. They have a lot to do with downtime.
Okay, now that you've explained these things, I'm looking at things like stuff because it says air shuji rank in rank 2, you can buy air shuji rank 1 to 2. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and that counts towards your. And I should note, the thing about your curriculum is that's what counts towards your school advancement. Is so long as you meet the requirements, you can buy anything.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
But not shinobi techniques.
Yeah. You cannot buy shinobi techniques freely unless they're listed in your curriculum because you are taught very specific techniques by your school.
Okay,
I think the only school that has completely free-range access to ninjutsu is the Mercenary Ninja School because they are basically a self-taught tradition or like a mentorship. Like, you're not part of a school, you just know dirty tricks, so you can kind of learn whatever. But most schools have limits to what ninjutsu they can get.
Okay.
And there are, like I mentioned, how titles have like mini curriculums. There are some titles, or maybe some future titles, which will let you pick up other stuff and other situations where you can pick up certain techniques.
I wonder if Spy will give me Sculpt. That'd be neat. Because I was eyeing that. Like, actually, where are titles?
I have a list, but they don't include the curriculums in the cheat sheet. Does it say what books they're in? It does. I'm smart. It's at the bottom of the cheat sheet, titles. Lets you know what book they're in, lets you know what you get out of it, and lets you know how much EXP it takes to complete. So you can kind of judge how big they are.
Axe, the nameless isn't every name. It's just a recommended and an inspiration.
Yeah. That's just I think I've said that at the front. It's not my top list. If you have a name you want to use, fucking research it. Like, figure out what it means. Or what you think it means, you know. It's a whole thing. That said, I think Lucky brought this up. That's what question like 18 or 19 out of 20? What's your fucking name, nerd? Which I love, by the way, that they're like, don't name your character until you've well thought this character out and established a lot of their backstory. Obviously, you can, especially when we're doing freeform stuff, you can skip questions, but it's a whole thing. But yeah, so this is a point of confusion with some people sometimes, and it's like, it's not necessarily super clear. You have to like read. I assume you haven't done the full-blown line read every page of the core book yet, right?
No.
Which
There's
is
a lot to
asking
read.
a lot, too. That's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the way we'll probably cover this again because you might forget, but the way EXP expenditure works is if you spend it in curriculum, that counts fully towards reaching your next rank in your school, which means you can access new techniques, you get new special access and stuff. A lot of abilities, like your school ability means you can reroll additional dice when you exploit a disadvantage equal to your school rank. So the higher your school rank is, the more dice you can reroll when you take advantage of somebody's disadvantages. Very scummy. I love it. Some people have said that the Baishi Death Dealer is kind of weak because they're just rerolls, but I think it's just because it requires them to actually roleplay. You don't get it for free. You have to actually learn about your fucking opponents.
Well, like I said, I will say that is what people like to do. They like to meta. They like, I want to do the thing the most efficiently. I want to hit it go down.
Yeah. And I can understand kind of like, yes, re-rolling is not the same as just a flat bonus, like increasing a value or something or adding a die. But the fact that you can reroll a lot of dice means you can do some interesting fishing for stuff, like fishing for results you want. And the fact that you can re-roll like up to like 5 or 6 dice, you know, at max level, that's a lot of dice. I also think that's extra dice. But so you want to improve your school rank. So if you buy something that's listed on your curriculum table, you get full EXP count towards your next rank up. If you buy something that you're allowed to buy but is not on your table, it counts as half. So ring increases always count as half. Skills that aren't on your skill list count as half. So you can be like, I really want to pick up a technique like, this is good for when they add new kata that are like not listed and stuff, but you're like, oh geez, I have a chain weapon now. I have like Kasari Fundo or something. I'm like, I really want to pick up Daring Swing so I can fucking Spider-Man, but Daring Swing came out in a book after my school. Well, if you meet the rank requirements, you can still pick it up because you're still a Bushi. You can still learn new techniques outside of your school, but certain types of techniques are not allowed. Like, for instance, you can never just pick up magic. You can never be like, I want to learn invocations. You're not a Shugenja. You can't just start speaking to the kami unless you, like, I think you can importune certain invocations if you become a priest. Like, if you became super religious, sure, okay. But you're not going to be like, say, the mainline Shugenja school of the Scorpion is Well, they have two, so it would either be Soshi or Yogo. But if you were playing a Soshi Illusionist, you could just be like, I can learn any invocation I feel like. I can throw fireballs and lightning at people. That's really not what my school's about, but I can do it. So you can, to a certain extent, you can adjust and massage your accessible skills and techniques to fit your personal character. Just that means that you are not pursuing your school and might actually go a little slower and stuff.
Yeah, I think I totally might try to pick up Spy because it does have Skulk in it. And Covert Agent does too, but that has unfortunate implications.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. So, Covert Agent is, I believe you get you get the Dark Secret disadvantage, because you are, that's literally, you're like almost like a sleeper agent, like somebody's put you somewhere you're not supposed to be. Spy is, your lord has told you to go spy on people.
Yeah, like it literally says, in reality, most spies do little more than simply observe and report on events and happenings of interest to the superiors. Covert Agent is, let's see here. Where's a good way to explain things? And
also, I might play a little fast and loose with some of this stuff, like the Dreadful Enforcer. Now that now I'm going to pigeonhole you, but the Dreadful Enforcer thing is your lord has to tell you to assassinate a guy of like status 60 or something.
Oh, Jesus.
So, like, basically some kind of provincial daimyo, and you have to succeed. I'm like, okay, maybe not. That seems really specific. Maybe you can get that title if your lord tells you to just assassinate a guy, and you do it.
Let's see here. Like I said, because I like titles. I like status above it. It's like, I'm this kind of dude. I have power. And it's something that people
and the title system is a great way to customize that, to be like, I'm a magistrate, I'm a negotiator, you know. Oh, I'm a gunso, a sergeant, basically.
I'm totally going for spy, though. Somehow.
And that makes sense. I can work that out. Because some of them have special circumstances, like the Kenshinzen title is a super special kind of duelist. To get it, you have to defeat another Kenshinzen in a duel with at least 2 witnesses. But they give it to anybody, so that's like, I expect if we have any super high-level duelists, we'll have some people probably trying to arrange that. So that can be given out kind of like narratively by arranging that challenge. But other titles, I will be like, okay, I can come up with a way to do this and kind of work at stuff.
Work it.
Because obviously titles have narrative and mechanical complications that I want to like let people go towards and be like, yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, that works. And they add more titles. I think there's only like 2 titles in Celestial Realms, and I don't know what they do, but I believe one is you have a spirit buddy.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
A spirit likes you, and the other is you're a secret moon cultist. And I'm like, that last one might not come up. Yeah, the moon's a big deal. We don't talk a lot about Lord Moon. He was kind of a jerkface.
Kind of likes, yeah. All hail Lady Sun.
Yeah, Lady Sun's great.
We love Lady Sun.
She's super cool. She's the coolest. Origin of all that is good and mother to us all. I will probably say that at least once. Also, it is true. Like, I don't know if I've covered the super high level backstory, but it's like the mythological creation story of Rokugan is like 50% Japanese, 50% is just Greek.
It is. It's so Greek. I saw it as like, this is literally fucking Kronos and Zeus.
Yeah, basically, that's exactly it. So, Lord Orutangu, Lord Moon, ate his kids because he was jealous of how much attention Lady Sun was spending with them. And so Lady Sun hid her last kid, Hante, by the way, the guy who would become the emperor, away, and because he was her favoritist. And then he came back after training with the elemental dragons and dueled his dad and cut his siblings out. But then they all accidentally fell to earth, and they became the kami who founded Rokugan and all the clans. Except Fu Leng. Fu Leng was a little bitch baby. He hung onto Lord Moon's leg, so Lord Moon kicked him off, which meant he felt slightly harder, and he punched through Ninvento, the realm of humans, into Jigoku, the hell realm, the realm of punishment, and he got super evil.
Yeah.
Fucking Fu Leng.
Actually, if I remember correctly, I think Fu Leng actually fought Hante at the end because...
Yes, Fu Leng crawled out of Jigoku and showed up because the Kami held a tournament to see who would lead the new nation they were building, and Hante won. It turned into a 1v1 versus him and Akodo, the Lion Clan founder. But at the last minute, Akodo was blinded by the sun, and then he gave up because he realized that Mommy loved Hante best. That's not exactly how it's phrased, but it's basically what it means. So he was like, okay, clearly Mom still loves you the best, so you should be in charge. if the sun itself fights me. It's like at the end, Fu Leng shows up and they're like, "Hey, Fu Leng, you're alive, great." Kind of weird though, and he's like, "Hey, I heard you had a contest to see who will be in charge of the human world. Can I get on this contest? I want to see if I'm in charge of the human world." And Hante was like, "Okay, buddy. Well, since I'm the emperor, I have the right to name my challenger. I picked Togashi as my champion." Togashi, the Dragon Clan founder, and Togashi was like, "Cool, I accept. I choose all of Rokugan as my weapon." And Fu Leng was like, all right, now it's on like Donkey Kong, and he led the hordes of the Shadowlands to fight them.
Yep.
The war against darkness. Big deal in the backstory.
I can say the backstory is pretty fucking wild, y'all.
Yeah, but yeah, so, Lord Moon's, he's still alive. He's kind of a knobhead. There's 3 sacred substances in Rokugan. The first two are derived from Lady Sun's tears, because as her son and her husband fought, she wept. Where her tears solidified in the air, they became clear crystal, which is spiritually significant, but it's not as potent as where her tears touched the ground. That becomes jade. And jade is a sacred substance. It's very strongly repelling to evil forces and things that go against the celestial order. Where Onutangu's blood was spilled, it formed obsidian. Obsidian is not universally tainted, but generally it is a substance that amplifies negative emotions. It's usually bad juju. And then where the blood and the tears touched, humans came out. So humans have yin and yang in them. It's great. It's a metaphor. Humans have the power of sun and moon inside them. Yeah, I know. I've lamented this a little bit. It's kind of sad that obsidian is like evil, but also the way they've described it, jade with a capital J is not literally like the mineral jade, because there's actually a couple different minerals called jade. So it's entirely possible that volcanic glass obsidian is not obsidian with a capital O, but still obsidian's bad juju.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so they do a lot of like, jade literally, like sacred jade, like almost seems like it glows or reflects light. But yeah, Lady Sun is cool, and she's technically the origin of the whole empire because of, it's her children who founded everything. So yeah, no, that you can totally legit call out origin of all that is good and mother to us all. Lady Sun is rad, yo.
Yeah.
In fact, there's
I
think Finger of Jade is like rarity 6. You can pick one up at character gen.
Yeah, you can.
They're not super common, but they're fairly common. And actually, that is a mechanic. They do have a quality called Sacred, which prevents you from getting accursed and afflicted. But they will become damaged over time, so you got to be careful. But yeah, there's actually a minor clan, the Moshi, the Centipede clan, who are super devoted to Lady Sun, and if you trust their version of their lore, Lady Sun directly answers their prayers. Which is probably true, because their school in Celestial Realms, I've seen a picture of it, it's super rad. Lucky, they get +2 in Fire Ring.
Oh, Jesus.
No ifs, ands, or buts, you just get +2 fire. All of their fire invocations have the sacred quality, which means they hurt spiritual beings the bestestest. However, if you try to blast a human with fire, instead they are healed instead of hurt.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, no, they're I don't know if anybody will pick it, and obviously you're already pretty locked in, but that would be a school I would be interested in playing a Moshi Sun Sentinel, because they're just like, they have this very personal relationship with the sun and the fire element, and it's really neat. But okay.
Wait, that's the clan, right?
Yeah, they are. They are the minor clan Centipede, family named Moshi.
Moshi.
Yeah, like I said, they're in Celestial Realms, which is the newest book, which isn't out in PDF, but like I said, I've seen a picture, so it's like, they're cool. But yeah, we've exceeded 5 hours of audio. I am now super hungry. Lucky got me talking about L5R like he does.
I do that.
But we should probably wrap up so I can go eat and edit this sometime this millennium. Yeah, you can definitely, I can relate some of these questions to UX, but probably in, tabletop chat, because I don't want to talk forever. And I don't know, maybe much like I did that dumb video at 40K, we could have a video that's just people ask me questions about L5R, and I try to explain them. Most of it is... Actually, that's a good question. Do I have a definition of the techniques in my cheat sheet? No, I do not. I should probably put that in.
You do not. I was about to say, I was going to actually look for some stuff.
That's a good one. I should do that as because I've got explanations of, skills and rings and different stuff. The explanation of what your roles do.
Mm-hmm.
So I should probably explain what the different technique groups are. Because sometimes they use... Most of the time, actually, they use Japanese words like kata, shuji, but sometimes they use English words like rituals or invocations, because that would be kind of Some of them will be weird. Like, Maho is just called Maho. Bad magic. Blood magic is bad, kids. Don't do it. By the way, just as one final note, though, about Maho, it's funny. Remember that thing I talked about, how techniques, you have to have them in school? There's one exception to this. The only thing you need to know to take Maho techniques is to have a source of evil lore. Capital E, capital L.
Oof.
So, yeah, any asshole can learn blood magic. It's great. It's not great.
Don't do it.
Don't do Maho, kids. Well, with that remark, we should probably go ahead and finish that wind down. I'm so glad we don't do time codes for this. Robin would probably be hitting me right now. You ended the show like 5 times, Omega. What the fuck?
I'm just imagining us playing Among Us Emergency Media. Amazing Imposter. He does fucking 5-hour shows and makes me do con codes.
I could see Robin doing that once. No, Robin used to be the one who I don't know. Robin hasn't shown up yet. I don't know. It's probably sleeping or at work or something. But Robin used to be the one of the like 2 or 3 people who would prompt me to ramble about L5R. So it's fine. But yeah, it's a crazy one. Okay, so that all said, all that stuff said, we're actually doing the outro now. Unless Lucky has like one final thing he wants to insert here.
Nope. I'm gonna let you finish.
All right. So if you're watching this video on YouTube, be sure to give it a like if you liked it. We would really appreciate that. Or give it a dislike if you dislike it. I don't care. Just engage with the video. Click buttons. Mm-hmm. You can also leave a comment if you have any of them in the comment section down below. We don't get a lot of comments on WhatsApp, but we love comments, so consider dropping one by. You can also hit us up on our Discord. That link is in the video description and on our channel page as always. Great place to get kind of live feedback and talk back and stuff with us, and just talk with lots of other cool people who aren't on the show. Mm-hmm. Sorry, it's the hunger. It's starting to make my stomach all weird. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you're new here and haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. If you subscribe, you can get more episodes of this show. You can get our mainline podcast, Let's Talk FGO. You can follow our actual plays and other videos we do about stuff, book reviews, quick bits, streams, etc. And even if you're already subscribed, consider hitting that bell for notifications so you always know when we post a new video right away. Just click that bell, set your notifications to all. It'll give you a little alert when a thing happens. Great way to keep track of us and make sure you're not missing a thing. And of course, you can also join this channel. Hit that join button at the bottom. You can join our memberships, get access to emotes and stuff. It's another great way to support us monthly. Cheap too. It's only like $1.99, I think. $2 a month. In American anyway. But of course, if you want to get access to this episode early in audio format and lots of other goodies, consider supporting us on Patreon, like it said at the front of the show. It's as little as $1 a month or $10 a year to get access to our basic level and get all of our audio downloads free, with no additional charge per download. Just, pay the monthly, get them all when they come out. Entire back catalog, everything. Just download them. It's great. And at higher levels, you can get access to polls, get access to videos early. Even at higher enough levels, listen to the show live, get live shoutouts, etc. Great way to support us and make sure that Omega can buy that PS5. No, I'm kidding. Technically, I already have the money built up. Just, it makes Omega feel more comfortable about his bank account, just in general. It would make me feel better. And like I said, it's not like I'm not going to stream on it. Anyway, I've turned the outro into a joke. It's time to wrap up. So we'll see you guys next week for more What's Up. Be sure to check out the episode of Let's Talk FGO that's already come out if you haven't. And stay frosty. I think this Tuesday I'm going to try and organize an Uno dart game instead of regular card games. I think. I'll let you guys know.
Alrighty.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.